Well, good evening. Hello. It is time for another one of our Slant Alpha adventures. Thank you guys so much for being here. We've got a few of you that have checked in already. Stabbed to the faces here. Merides has stopped in with a one-person Merry Raid. Thank you very much for being here. And ZBWYS is back with us as well. Only fitting that ZBWYS is with us tonight, since we are at beautiful, busy Boston Logan International Airport, and we are in Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, so we're seeing a nice, beautiful, full ortho with 3D rendition of it, as the sim tends to do, and looks nice and beautiful. We are going to be doing the Wings over New England training flights, VFR training flights 4 through 6, that are part of the Boston Virtual ARTCC. They have a series of training flights, and it's 30 total flights, actually. 6 VFR flights, and then 24 IFR flights. And they're self-study, so you kind of just go in, read the material, get familiar with what you need to do, and then you hop online anytime Boston Virtual ARTCC is up and running, and you can let the controller know that you intend to do the WINGS VFR 4 or the WINGS IFR 1 or whatever you'd like to do. You can also file that as part of your flight plan remarks, and as long as they're not too completely slammed with workload, they'll usually just approve that, and then you perform the flight as long as you do it up to the standards that they can see from their scope. They're not watching the inside of your cockpit per se, but they're watching the performance of your flight as far as they can see it on the radar scope, and as long as you meet all the standards, they pass you. And then they have a little scoreboard on the website here that you can see which ones you've passed, and then you get kind of a special recognition if you do all 30 of them. The beautiful thing about Boston... Oh, Wreck the Red is here. Okay, well that means it's a two-person Merry Raid. Wreck, it's good to see you, man. So the beautiful thing about Boston is that ever since 2015, when the Boston Virtual ARTCC merged in with now Comrade, right? Exactly. Ever since 2015, when Boston Virtual ARTCC merged in with VATSIM, VATSIM had a ZBW, a Boston ARTCC, but Boston Virtual ARTCC, as it exists, with this branding and all that, they actually existed as their own thing prior to 2015, and they had their own server. They for whatever reason, the licensing rights to the software they were using lapsed, and they weren't able to renew because some developer was no longer part of the project or something like that. Some big drama with their licensing rights. And instead of going to a completely new server, they started up talks with VATSIM about merging in, and they are now one of the most active ARTCCs in the U.S. Except for tonight. Tonight there was a conspicuously Boston-shaped hole right in the middle of our northeastern U.S. coverage on a random Wednesday. I debated, contacting them ahead of time, saying that I was going to be doing this tonight because, they're so on like almost every night without even needing to be asked. And Sheet is streaming yesterday. Stream is sheeting tomorrow. Evan was on for like 5 hours earlier today. So just I rolled the dice and lost, guys. I could have gotten a score with anything but snake eyes, and I rolled snake eyes. But it's okay, because we're going to go ahead and do these flights anyway, 4 through 6. And I've done them before. That's the other dirty little secret, is I've done them before. So Flight Sim 2020 has the Mooney. It's Carenado Rec. So it's a Carenado product. It's in the marketplace. And there was a bit of drama when I first bought it because an Asobo update came out right after that made all of the cockpit controls crash the plane to desktop. But that's since been fixed and it's working great. And we love it. We love the Mooney. Actually, when I started this stream 2.5 years ago, most of my flights were in the FSX Mooney Bravo. So this is kind of getting back to the stream's roots almost. But at any rate, we'll go ahead and cover VFR 4, 5, and 6 tonight, with or without ATC coverage. I've done these before. I can certainly talk through what radio calls you would get at certain points. I think we actually do have a ground controller at Boston, unless he's now logged off too. No, he's gone too. They all saw me coming and headed for the hills. Oh well. My reputation precedes me, guys. It's okay. But I can certainly talk you through the radio calls that you would get in various parts of this flight. So we will do that tonight. If I get a chance to circle back and do these again with air traffic control coverage, that's fine. But at least for those who are thinking about doing these training flights, don't want you to wait too much longer before getting a chance to see these demo videos and kind of get a sense of what is expected of you. So and fingers crossed. I mean, it's never out of the question that a controller would just pop on at any point while I'm talking through the briefing here, or maybe halfway through the stream, or who knows. So yeah, we'll kind of play it by ear and see. We may end up just all by our lonesome again. Maybe they did see me coming. All right. So the VFR4, we've already kind of pulled up the specific description here. We want us to get a Class Bravo clearance for departure out of the airspace, Boston to Nashua, without entering any unauthorized space, and I'll show you on SkyVector how we will plan to do that. We do need to establish two-way comms with the person working Nashua Tower, whoever that might be. It might be an approach controller or a center controller, given the top-down nature of VATSIM staffing coverage, but we'll talk through that, and then the pattern entry at Nashua. So it is a one-way, fairly short VFR cross-country flight. So this is basically a summary of airspace classes. You can read through that on your own. This is an example of a route to get from Boston to Nashua that avoids the Hanscom class Delta, the Beverly class Delta, and the Lawrence class Delta. We'll show you that in more detail on SkyVector once I get over to that. They're talking about the east and westbound cruising altitudes. So VFR eastbound is typically an odd 1,000 plus 500, so 35, 55, 75, 95 on up. Westbound, it's an even 1,000 plus 500, so 45, 65, 85, etc. If you're going to be flying within 3,000 feet of the ground, though, you're pretty much just VFR at whatever altitude you want to be VFR at, and it's then, I mean, it's always whether or not you're at one of these, or you're just below 3,000 at whatever altitude you want to be at, it's still always on you as the pilot to maintain separation with other traffic. But at least these conventions reduce the odds that you're going to go head on with somebody, but you still have to kind of look. Guanian says, I got the TOLUS A321 and the Bush Cessna for which? TOLUS would be for X-Plane, yes? And the Prop Strike Cessna, Guanian, yeah, both are great airplanes. I'm not an Airbus person, but I've heard nothing but good things about the TOLUS, and of course I have flown the Prop Strike Cessna 172 extensively. Both are fantastic planes. All right, so this talks us through the radio calls, and I will talk through those as we go. When you're within Class Bravo airspace, you have to adhere by any heading and altitude instructions they give you. They will eventually clear you to any appropriate VFR altitude, or unless you leave the airspace, they'll just tell you leaving the airspace, maintain VFR, frequency change approved. But while you're still in the Bravo, they could tell you, that you're pretty much free to maintain VFR altitudes. And then at some point, if they don't have any traffic to work you around, they'll tell you to resume on navigation, at which point just go by whatever route you decided to make. And again, approaching Nashua Tower, we would contact them once within about 10 miles. And again, it might be an approach controller or a center controller working as Nashua Tower on VATSIM, but we can talk through that again once we get up there. We do have some icing warnings here. This is over in layers. You can check that you want the text weather, which is the colored dots at each airport, and then you can have icing warnings if you want. It's a good thing to have those because the Mooney is so susceptible to icing, and especially in Flight Sim 2020. And then the radar here gives you the radar returns, and then you can go at the bottom and hit play, and you can kind of see the direction that those radar returns are trending. So SkyVector has a lot of nifty little tools for VFR flying that are good to take advantage of. Let's go ahead and go up into the flight plan and type KBOS to KASH. That's the plan for tonight. Again, we've got the Hanscom class Delta that we want to make sure we avoid. We're going to stay fairly low. I think what's the icing warning here? I'm just looking for below 070. So I think we're going to want to stay kind of as low as possible to stay below the freezing conditions. Notice also we're at if we stay low, we would exit the Bravo at this point, but if we're below 4,000, we actually exit it at this point. And if we're below 3,000, we actually exit it at this point. If we're below 2,000, we actually exit it at this point. So the lower you go, the narrower this lateral boundary is. And then we got the Delta here that goes up to 2,600. So let's see. I think what we would want to do is we want to kind of stay to the north and east. Let's see if we can follow this highway. Well, that highway then puts us right through the Lawrence Delta. So here's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to get tricky. We're going to do a little bit of radio navigation on our VFR flight. We're going to use the Boston VOR, and it looks like if we were to go out, we want to kind of go out in this direction, yes? Because that's going to take us, if we go toward Lowell, am I right? Yeah, then we're going to be kind of splitting the uprights here, west of Lawrence and east of Hanscom. So that's what we want to do. We want to kind of head right towards this town of Lowell and head straight out to Nashua that way. So how would we do that through the use of radio navigation? It looks like this is a 330, and this is, I'm having trouble seeing it in the clutter of the truck. Okay, so here's 0. So that's 350. That's 330. So it looks like this is almost a 340 outbound. Let's just add the Boston VOR, a 340 radial, and let's just say 20 miles. So you can put in the VOR identifier, 3 digits for the radial outbound that you want to track. So there's 340, and then 3 more digits to the whole mile that you want to track out. So that would put us there. And if we do that line, look at that, it does keep us east, and we can actually go to the Boston TAC chart. So the TAC, Terminal Area Chart, that gives you a little bit more detail. So a 340 does put us indeed east of Hanscom and west of Lawrence. And then it puts us right on the edge of that ring there. And then from there, it's almost a straight in to Nashua. And Merides is going to take the challenge of flying slant alpha, meaning radio navigation only, which is what I'm doing tonight, guys. We're going to pretend we don't have the GPS in that Mooney. If you have the GPS, man, flying is almost too easy. It's almost like a cheat. Question is whether we would, at Nashua, whether we would be given a straight in to this northwestbound runway, or whether we would be given either a left or a right downwind to the southeastbound runway. We don't know what the wind conditions are there. It looks like they don't really have a standard pattern direction. If it's a towered field, the pattern entry would just be whatever the tower controller tells you. Left would kind of be the general standard. But let's just hover over that. What is its wind is calm. So I think for purposes of just the training flight, I think we'll just say we'll take a left downwind. It'll be good practice to do a pattern. So we'll just presume that the tower controller is going to give us a left downwind entry to that southeastbound runway, whatever it is. 15 or 14, 16, something like that. All right, let's see if I can scroll back through the messages here. I think Rex says, I keep getting icing in flights in 2020 and non-icing conditions below clouds. Yeah, the icing model in flights in 2020 is a bit aggressive. It's like a limbo contest, except for everyone ignores you instead, right below the below the shelves. The lower you go, the less you need to talk to somebody. Very cool. Meredith says, Rex taught me on a 6-pack 152. Tried a glass panel and hated it. Yes, you're kind of my, up my alley with that sentiment. Agent Bravo 7 is here. Yes, Agent Bravo 7, we're doing Boston Wings over New England flights without Boston online. It's one of the rare nights that they're not around. And like more and more ARTCCs are popping on, and Boston is just absent. And like I said, I'm kind of yanking their chain a little bit. I know that, Evan was on for like 5 hours earlier, and Sheed's on for like 10 hours every other day. So I know it's just a coincidence. It's just really funny. All right, let's get this thing on the road. Let's go ahead and file a flight plan. We're going to be VFR. We're going to be Boston to Nashua. No alternate. Departure time, it's 122 Zulu now. Let's just say 145 Zulu. That's going to be in terms of the wheels up time. Time en route, what's the total mileage? Is 34.1, so that's going to be about a 20-minute flight, if that. Fuel available, I don't know, we'll just say 4 hours. Cruise speed 180 seems about right. What do we need as a cruising altitude? We're going to keep it as low as we can here. I think if we're looking at the minimum safe altitudes on the VFR chart, we're looking for like these things here. That's 1,600 feet there. And I don't, 1,100. Yeah, I think probably 2,500 will be plenty. The field elevation at Nashua is 200, so the pattern altitude there will be 1,200. So I think a cruise altitude of 2,500 is fine. Again, we don't have to be under 3,000 AGL. We don't have to be at an even 1,000 plus 500, but it's just going to work out in this case. That's the way to go. We'll just call this VFR northwest bound. We could put in that we're going to take the Boston VOR 340 radial to 20 miles, but we're not bound to that. We could change our mind. We could decide to follow the highway or whatever. So because we're not bound to a certain route like you would be if you were filing an IFR plan, just VFR northwest bound is certainly good enough. And then here's where we would also just put wings VFR 4. If a controller happens to pop on, they'll know what we're doing. All right, flight plan has been filed. Bravo 7 says, I don't hate class, but I don't understand people who go like, I'm not flying with steam gauges. No, I'm the opposite of that coin. Can't go wrong with a compass and a simple radio. Less to fail, exactly. There you go. That's Stab to the Face says, we're learning on SR20s, which are very nice, but that's why I backfill when watch Slant Alpha adventure streams as penance. There you go, exactly. Then you've balanced the universe the way the universe needs to be balanced, and that's good. All right, what's next, guys? Let's go ahead and get the plane fired up, I presume. Get my checklist up in front of me. I'm not doing flight time and fuel calculations on this spreadsheet, but I am going to use it for the procedures, just because I don't want to miss anything here in the Mooney. Let's get into the airplane. That'd be first thing, right? Probably just run the controls through their ranges and make sure that everything is synced up properly. And they appear to be. We'll get all the levers down for now. Make sure I have my correct control profile loaded, which I do. Okay, good. For a co-pilot is exiting the building. She's like, oh God, he's in the Mooney tonight. Let's get out of here. Parking brake set. All switches are down. We can get battery switch on. Let's get this yoke out of the way here. Battery switch on. We'll go nav and beacon light, which is above here. That's nav and beacon there. Mix and props forward. Go ahead and get the fuel pump on, which is that one. We'll turn the magnetos from left to right to both, not necessarily in that order. Go ahead and clear the prop area. Dave MSP is here. All right, we got propage. Let's go ahead and turn the boost pump off. And hang on one second, guys. Just double check one thing here. Okay. Yeah, and the oil pressure, you want to kind of just make sure the oil pressure comes up right away, which is that second one from the right, and it's already in the green arc, so that's good. Fuel pump then can come off like I did. Alternator and radio master then are on. I like having the fuel readout set to endurance, even though on the ground it's not going to read correctly because it's going to tell you got like hours and hours. I didn't even set a fuel load, but we'll check on that. We'll check on that after we land and see what we got left in the tanks. It looks like we've got plenty for now. I've run it up. Still says we got 3 hours and change, so we're okay there. What are the actual gauges? Oh, the gauges are right here. 24 and 24. We got plenty. Okay, we're good. We are good. Let us see. The marker beacon sounds can go muted. We don't really need them on a nice VMC day like today. I like to put the message screen up over the GPS, pretend it's not there. We get these radios all turned on, and they are. We'll get the transponder turned into altitude mode, and it's reading 1200, which is VFR. We're not going to get an assigned squawk code because we don't have a controller on to give us one, but we are going to be VFR, so we'll leave it at 1200. The other thing is, when we turn it from on to mode Charlie, which is altitude mode, for right now, you also have to do that in the pilot client. Should happen automatically. Those two things should connect, but for right now that is not working, so that's something that you have to double up and do twice for the moment. Let's see. Comm radios, we really don't have anybody to talk to except for 122.8, so we'll give some position announcements on the universal CTAF channel on VATSIM, which is 22.8. All right, everything is looking good there. And we already did our... Oh, we got center online? Oh, perfect. Oh, excellent. All right, 34.7 then. Lovely. That's good timing. Figured if I yammered on long enough, somebody would pop in.
Excellent.
Exactly. Release the hounds. All right, 34.7 then. Well, good. That's going to make for a better stream. Get this demonstrated the way it ought to be demonstrated. That way, if I screw it up, there's somebody there to tell me. Normally, if I screw something up, I know it. But in case I screw it up in a way that I don't know it, it'll be nice to have somebody there to tell me. All right, let's make sure that propagated over. It did. All right, so now we will get a squawk code, but for right now, we just leave it at 1200 for now until we talk to them and get our taxi clearance. All right. Good. Thank you, ZBW, for spotting that. I knew you'd be on top of that ball, just in case they did pop online. All right. Where to leave off in the checklist? Okay, so we set the... Oh, we need to go ahead and get the ATIS. Do they have an ATIS up yet? They may not. They may still be working on that. Nope, he already did that. He's quick on the draw. Information Hotel, 240 at 8. Pressure is standard at 299 and they're on the 22s in runway wise. So 299 The field elevation, you always want to kind of double check your set pressure against the field elevation. Now it's reading a couple feet below sea level, which is wrong. But the actual field elevation is not much here. It's... Oh, we still got that icing thing up here. Close that.
Good evening,
Airport diagram says the field elevation is...
Air Canada 7132, Boston Center 5x5.
Is around here somewhere. There it is, 19 feet. Okay. So pretty close to what we're showing. I mean, I'm gonna bump it up just a couple feet. There. Kind of compromise. There we go. All right, what's next? So field elevation, comm radio set. We'll obtain our clearance when we're ready to go. We do want to go ahead and set our nav radio. We're going to be on that Boston VOR outbound on a 340.
Boston Center, November 621, Charlie Sierra.
So Boston VOR's 112.7 and 340. So when we get our Resumo navigation instruction, that's what we'll do.
621, Charlie Sierra, Boston Center.
We'll join that. We'll join that 340 outbound 112.7. Swap that over. Oh, that's nav 2. Sorry, we want to put that in nav 1, which which is up here. So 12.7. And swap that over. And I mean, we can put it here too, just to be redundant and repetitive. So we're going to depart off of the 2.2s, probably just spin the heading bug around the 2.2, and then 3.4.0 there. What's the actual runway heading on 2.2? Let's just check. 2.14, really, so it's much less. 6 degrees off of that. All right, let's 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we'll set the heading bug to the actual runway heading. What's next, guys? I think we're getting close here. Initial altitude is just going to be set to 2,500 because, and we're probably just going to hand fly. This is a really short one, so there's really not too much need to have autopilot dialed in. We do want to go ahead and check flaps, run them out to all 3 of their settings, and then back to takeoff. Everything's good. Trim is more or less set as it is also. And taxi light can come on, and we are ready to go. I will show you on the airport diagram where we are before we start rolling. We also want to kind of figure out, so if we're departing on the 2.2s, we're up here at the GA ramp somewhere, so I presume we'll get Bravo November and 2.2 right out. So that means we'll probably get across 1.5 right, hold short 1.5 left, and then once we get up to that point where we're short of 1.5 left, he'll give us the rest of the way. Those 2 runways are far enough apart that they're not able to give you crossing instruction for both of them in one breath. All right, I think we're ready. Let's go ahead and check in with the controller and get in line for a clearance. It sounds like he might be giving one out now, so we'll wait.
61 Charlie Sierra cleared to the
yeah, good fixings. We got lucky. I figured if I yammered on through the briefing long enough, we would increase the chance of actually getting somebody to pop in.
Maintain 3000, expect 10,000, 10 minutes after departure, squawk 4757.
Everything is proceeding as I have foreseen.
Airport Airport via the Logan 2 departure, radar vectors, and then Romeo Delta Mike, spin flight plan route. 3000, expect 10,000, 10 minutes after, 4717 in the box for 61 Charlie Sierra.
61 Charlie Sierra, back is correct.
Alright, and I don't think we need flight following. I think this thing says not to get flight following. Let's just remind ourselves. Yeah, I think it's... Leave Class B airspace no longer in two-way radio communication, so that means no flight following. So we're just going to tell them VFR north westbound. Boston Center, Mooney 514, Delta Victor. I think it was Information Hotel, wasn't it?
Mooney 514, Delta Victor, Boston Center.
We got Information Hotel. We're on the ground at Logan GA ramp and looking for VFR northwestbound departure for WINGS VFR 4.
.514 Delta Victor, roger, clear out of the Boston class Bravo airspace via maintain VFR at or below 3000. Departure BMI frequency, squawk 4701.
Alright, VFR at or below 3000, your frequency, and 4701, 514 Delta Victor.
514 Delta Victor, readback is correct. Advisory taxi and your WINGS VFR 4 is approved.
Roger, we're ready when you are, sir.
Number 514 Delta Victor, runway 22 right, taxi via Bravo, November, cross runway 15 right, hold short, runway 15 left.
Alright, 22 right via Bravo, November, short of, cross 15 right, short of 15 left, 514 Delta Victor. So it was exactly what I told you guys it would be. Yeah, told you. Told you I knew how this would go. Hopefully I'm not jinxing myself with that. Alright. Cuddy Rage, we're doing Boston to Nashua. The Wings over New England VFR training flight number 4. And Meredith says, nice. I worked my first tower event yesterday, was not as prepared as I had hoped, chalking it up to a learning experience. No, that's how those go. You always find out, no matter how prepared you think you are, you always find out what you're not good at in your first event. Hopefully they had your back and helped you out, bailed you out of any holes you got into. I did not see that, though. I'll have to maybe pick in on that VOD a little later on. But yeah, no, it's all good, Meredith. It's all part of the experience. So that is Zulu. So we're gonna go one more down to November and make the left. What airport? What were you at? Were you at Wayne County? So Alpha 1 to the right. Okay, so we got one more to go yet. Mentor jumped in. Oh, at Buffalo. Oh, I heard about that event actually. Not because I heard anything bad about the tower controlling. But somebody else was telling me about an experience they had as part of that event. I can't remember who it was now and what they said, but I do recall that it wasn't anything bad about the controlling. But it seems like it was a pretty well attended event. Alright, so this...
978 Alpha Papa Boston Center to Cape altimeter 2992, runway 15.
Make the left. And end up on the other side on November. Okay, yeah, so that taxiway was shaped a little funkily, but we are on it now. Okay, good. So we should be on November, coming up on 15 left, which we'll hold short of. Bravo 7. Don't remember who it was or what they said. Yeah, exactly. No, it's not me making stuff up off the top of my head, Bravo 7. It's just a sign of my age. Oh yeah, someone said something about that event. Couldn't tell you what it was. I heard a thing about a place from that person. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so short of 15 left.
47 after Ponk to join the J Fund.
Short of 15. Yeah, short of 15 left, and then he's got to clear us to go the rest of the way. One thing I learned was that I can deny VFR pattern work. During an event, you 203. No, wait.
J Fund 2.
No, Agent Bravo 7, I know. You can, yes, you can tell people trying to do pattern work at an event, you can tell them, you know, unable at this time. I mean, really, legitimately, you can, you can deny any kind of VFR traffic.
On November crossing right 15 left.
5 for Delta Victor, cross 15 left, continue via November.
Charlie Sierra verifies clocking 4757.
4757 for 61 Charlie.
Oh, yeah. That's indicative of how important it was. Yeah, no, I probably would have taken a little bit more note had I known Meredith was the tower controller there. Five guys doing patterns, just without there being an event, 5 guys doing patterns can get crazy. But yeah, no, you can shut down pattern work if you're during an event. I mean, anytime you're in controlled airspace, you can deny VFR traffic. Shouldn't really do it at a Charlie per se, but you can say.
The 219 descendant pressure maintained flight level.
You can say, yeah, it's going to be a delay. Expect further clearance in 120 minutes.
For 63659 Boston Center 5x5.
Alright, we do want to do a real quick run up. I think there's somebody coming up behind us. So we'll make this as quick as we can. Run it up to 2200. Let's Mag check 1 to the left.
Delta Victor on departure, turn right heading 240, wind 230 at 8, runway 22 right, clear for takeoff.
Alright, clear for takeoff 22 right and 240, 5 Delta Victor.
1 Charlie Sierra, runway 22 right, taxi via Bravo, November, cross runway 15 right, hold short, runway 15 left.
Alright, we'll do our third,
Bravo, November, crossing 15, holding short, 22 right, for 1 Charlie Sierra, sorry.
1 Charlie Sierra, cross runway 15.
okay, so run-up's complete, 240 is the instruction.
15 left.
And,
Gotcha, hold, crossing
strobes,
15 right,
recogs, landing lights, and pitot heat can all come on. Extend upwind indefinitely. Yeah, exactly. Alright, takeoff power set. Oh, takeoff flaps to be set. That'd be a good thing too. Got a little floaty. Alright, got a little floaty there. Get the gear up. Get the flaps up. Now remember to get the flaps up this time for a change of pace. So there's 400 feet. We'll go ahead and start our right turn to 240. And we're pitched for 100 knots. Remember, we're cleared up to 3,000.
514 Delta Victor, radar contact passing 800, climb maintain VFR at or below 3,000.
We're passing 1,100 now, and we'll maintain VFR at or below 3,000, 514 Delta Victor. So even though he gave us the altitude, we read it back to him as the current altitude that we're at. I always want to go closest 100 feet when you report your altitude for their verification purposes. All right, so now we can go 24 and 24. It's not exactly what's in the book, but it makes it easier to remember. 2,400 RPMs, 24 on the manifold pressure. And remember, we are on 240 heading until he tells us. We cannot turn on course and go join that radial until we get clearance to do so. So we're main.
514 Delta Victor, turn right heading 300.
300, 514 Delta Victor. All right. So again, until we get released to our own navigation, we are bound by whatever headings he gives us. And I'll tell you what, since we don't want to bust this 3,000, let's just level it off at 2,500.
JetBlue 1268, Boston Center, low cross.
It's 2,300 RPMs. And 23 on the manifold pressure, and we're still climbing, so let's...
United 4847, say Mach number.
Let's just settle it down. Nick Restless here. What's going on, Nick?
47, you mean my squawk box?
United 4847, say your indicator speed and knots, please.
Sorry, my speed right now is...
So the mentor and the coordinator were like, "Are you okay?" And you were like, "Nope." Well, you did the right thing, and that's Meredith. That's the smart thing to do, because there are a lot of new controllers who would have too much pride and be like, "No, I've got this, I've got this, I've got this," and just continue to get themselves further and further buried into the hole. So it's a good lesson. No matter how experienced you are, call for help if you need help. Your staff will have your back. So yeah, absolutely. Left 360s until I say otherwise. I love it.
That's 260 for Delta 290.
4847, turn 20 degrees to the left, expected vector to J5.
Yeah, but no, IFR traffic always takes precedence over VFR traffic.
United 4847.
And you can use that to your advantage if you have to. As much as I try to be the same way as you, I try and...
Victor, turn right heading 360.
360, 514 Delta Victor. I try to be like you. 514 Delta Victor, say again?
Yeah, what's your encore setting?
Probably the 340 radio off the Boston VOR.
If I went for Delta Victor, flighting 340.
340, 514 Delta Victor. Alright, so
61 Charlie Sierra, holding short to 15 left.
just gonna, he did not say intercept that radial, he said fly 340, so that's not the same thing as intercept that radial.
10 Charlie.
But it does get us, you know, mostly in the direction we want to go. And then the other thing we should do is we should check.
You want the VFR flight phone?
Negative. We can exit Bravo and be on our own from there.
514 Delta Victor, roger, leaving Boston class Bravo airspace, radar service terminated, frequency change is approved. If you want to transition to the Handsome class Delta 2500, that's approved.
Okay, yeah, no, we won't need that. We're going to stay clear of that, and then we'll contact you when we're up closer to destination of Nashua. All right, that's what I was going to say, is we need to figure out when we're exiting that Bravo so that we know when we can go ahead and turn on course. So he's got us on VFR now, so we're 1200 on the squawk, 1200. We can technically change frequencies, but I'll just leave it here. We'll just monitor him. And if he's told us we're leaving the Bravo, but I want to verify that. If we're at 2,500, then yeah, it looks like when we're out more than 10.5 miles, then it looks like we're outside of the Bravo, because that shelf goes to 3,000. And we are indeed outside of 10.5 miles. We're now at 11 miles, so we are indeed out of the Bravo. So we will. We were coming up on that. He had us kind of pointed right at that Hanscom Delta. So I wanted, because I said I was going to remain clear, I wanted to make sure I remain clear. So we might have brushed it. Let's see what he says. But he did approve us to go through it, even though I said I wouldn't. But at this point, just going to get over onto that 340 outbound radial. And then head up. So, evening, Mr. Mooney says Downwind Sim. Yes, how are you, Downwind Sim? And Kalow, or I'm not sure how that's to be said. Kalow or Kalow? We'll say Kalow is asking about graphic settings. So I am mostly on Ultra. I did knock a couple of things down. That I was on the advice of a YouTube video that said, here's a couple settings you can knock down for better performance that won't impact the visuals. I did that. I don't remember what video or what settings, but I will say I am mostly on Ultra with a couple of tweaks. Fresno J is with us. What's going on, Fresno J? Alright, so let's get over. We're still going eastbound to get on this 340 radial.
551 negative.
It's so beautiful. Yeah, Fresno, we're doing well, man. Okay, now that radial's starting to come in. You can see it on both the main HSI. You can see it also on the VOR2, which is on the upper right there. So with both of those coming in, we'll start a gentle left turn to intercept that 340 outbound. We will go until we are
Boston, is it runway 22 left?
At that point, which is I think 20 miles out of the Boston VOR. I think we said that's the 20 mile ring.
Welcome.
We got some though.
United 4847, we'll descend and maintain flight level.
In case we want to follow some roads, we can, but we'll follow the pretend ones.
219, still maintaining 300 knots.
So there's 340 radial.
300 knots to recruiter variable.
And 2500.
Contact passing 1500.
And 11 point. So we kind of just did a perpendicular turn there. When that gets to 20, that's when we will start heading over toward Nashua. And it looks like if this center controller is the only controller on, then he will be our Nashua Tower as well. So we would call Nashua Tower 10 miles out or thereabouts. But we will call Boston Center and then ask for a full stop at Nashua Tower. And then we can see whether he gives us that left downwind that I said we might get, or he might give us something else. It might be a good idea just to get that airport diagram in front of us. Rotate it to the right so it makes sense. So it looks like we've got a 14 and a 32 there. And winds were still calm last I checked, so.
JetBlue 1260 cross Stella at maintain 11,000 above the altimeter 2.
All right, CBWYS is going to check back in with us. All right, and again, kind of just hand flying to that 340 radial. It doesn't, I mean, we don't have to be exact on it, but certainly if we're on that radial, we know that we are to the right of Bedford and to the left of Lawrence. Now, Bedford was the one we saw back there. There's Bedford. So if we're on that 340, we know that we're far enough east of Bedford not to be in their delta. And then up ahead and to the right somewhere should be Lawrence. Maybe over there, I'm not sure. I don't quite see it. But up ahead somewhere. Yeah, it's going to be Lawrence. And as long as we kind of stay like we're tracking that 340, then we should be okay. And I'm going to maintain 2,500, so we'll trim it up just a little bit. One thing I can do, kind of, since we're at cruise now, I can kind of lean it out now. It's about 1530. About 50 degrees rich peak is what the POH says. And a lot of guys like to go lean a peak. It's a little more fuel efficient. Get back on that radial here. Since we've got a minute, I'll go ahead and remind you about what the Furry Co-Pilot is telling you there. Furry Co-Pilot is reminding you that we are media partners with this very ARTCC's signature event, the Flight Sim Expo, which is put on by the fine guys that are here, part of Boston Virtual ARTCC on VATSIM. It's going to be June 4th through 6th. It's a hybrid in-person and online event. I am planning, as of right now, if everything goes well with the health situation, then I am planning to attend that thing out in not Las Vegas. It's San Diego this year, the Town and Country Resort, San Diego, California, June 4th through 6th. My hotel arrangements are made. My flight arrangements are made. So we're hoping that we can get out there. All right, now we're outside of that Bravo. So now we can turn to about a 324, and we're 15 miles out. So let's just set this to a 324 now. And follow that heading. And we will know we are coming up on it when we see what? We're going to cross the Merrimack River left to right. Is that it up there?
336, turn left heading.
Oh no, that's it. I see the runway lights now. So we're basically 10 miles south and east right now. So we'll call in. It sounds like they've got a few people that are trying to call right now. Rex gotta go. Good to have you with us, sir. Thanks. Hope to see you back here again.
Yeah, 4847 to set and maintain 5,000, maintain.
All right, so we just got to basically make sure we don't get too close to this thing until we've actually talked to center for our pattern entry.
At 250 knots.
And where is it? Okay, it's that little brown patch up there.
Delta 219, turn left heading 1.
So we might circle around a little bit just to make sure that we're not in that airspace before we should be.
sorry, left heading 100, that's 5,000, Delta 290.
Center Mooney 514 Delta Victor is about 10 miles southeast of Nashua, looking for inbound for a full stop.
514 Delta Victor, Boston Center, hello again, Nashua altimeter 2990, wind calm, proceed straight in runway 32, advise 2 mile final.
All right, straight in runway 32. Also, we didn't report altitude for you. We're at 2,400, 514 Delta Victor.
Thank you.
All right, straight in.
Can I please get the...
And I've lost sight of it again. Oh, there it is.
4847 Boston altimeter 2992, advising information hotel, expect ILS runway 22 left.
Oh, and there it is taking off as well. Okay, very good, guys. Glad you guys dropped in.
Expect ILS 22.
Okay, so we were given a straight into 3-2.
Information goals.
We're going to enrich the mix and spin the props up. A 2 mile final would be kind of over the confluence of those two rivers there, so that's where we'll check in.
0902.
Let's get some power down.
250 knots or greater.
Maintain 250 or greater, Delta 290.
Yeah, it's squealing at me because I'm pulling power out, but I don't have the flaps or gear in yet. Might have to use that infamous Mooney speed brake. Yep, there we go. Alright, now we can get flaps one in gear. Make sure those speed brakes get back in. Yeah, see a nice little speed brake there on the Mooney wing there.
Boston Center, good evening, TBM 647 Zulu.
Alright, let's go second notch flaps now.
The northwest ramp would like to receive our VFR clearance to
landing rate predictions, guys. I know I'm kind of last minute with this.
Number 647 Yankee Zulu, Boston Center, good evening, cleared out of the Boston class Bravo.
Landing rate predictions, just a number into the chat, positive or negative, no bot command necessary.
Frequency 4636.
As soon as this readback is over, let the guy know that we're on a 2 mile final.
out on departure, maintaining 3,000 feet and
Aim for 75 knots down final, 70 over the numbers.
Thank you, Rebecca is correct.
5-4 Delta Victor, 2 mile final, runway 32 Nashua.
514 Delta Victor, wind calm, runway 32, clear to land.
Little land 32, 5-4 Delta Victor. So there's about 75 knots there.
Care 336.
A little bit low, so we're holding off on the descent until we get a little closer in. Alright, gears down, flaps set and checked, landing clearance is received. Left turn off if we land. There's some whites, there we go.
Delta 219, turn left heading 040, vectors for descent.
040, vector descent, Delta 219.
Speed's looking good, center line's looking good. That's a red, but I'm feeling okay about the descent angle here.
Right, taxi via Bravo, November, cross runway 15 right, hold short runway 15 left.
Down to about 70 now. Kind of where we want to be. Power down. Hold it off.
Hold short of 15 left.
33!
1260, advisory information.
What's up?
LS24, we do have kilo on board, jumbo 12.
33 and pretty much on the blocks and pretty much on the center line. Can't complain about any of that, guys. A little tiny bit long, but more or less on the blocks.
1260, turn right heading 160, descend and maintain 5,000.
It's not about Great Britain, it's about Great Butter.
JetBlue 1268, right turn heading 160, descend and maintain.
Oh, well, that was great butter. I was happy with that.
165,000.
A little bit long over the blocks, but I mean, I was.
Black, turn right heading 190, maintain.
I felt good about the speed, center line alignment. I didn't float it egregiously long, and yeah, flare timing was pretty good.
Blue 5 Patrol, get you in a second. United 4847, turn left heading 040.
Turn left heading 040.
Delta 219, turn right heading 1.
One thing I probably should have done
210 knots.
was come off at Charlie and wait to taxi in until I heard from him.
Delta Victor, welcome to Nashua. Taxi Alpha to the ramp. Congrats on passing WINGS.
All right, Alpha to the ramp, and we'll talk to you for number 5 Delta Victor.
JetBlue 551, runway 22 right, taxi.
So probably should have called, pulled off Charlie, held short of Alpha, just to be sure, and waited for him to call me for the taxi. So that's the only thing I probably should have done that I didn't. Other than that, I think it was overall pretty good execution. We can get the parking brake on it. Also, off of the runway, the other thing that I could have done is strobe lights off, recogs, landing lights off, and the taxi lights can come off now that we're stopped. We'll get the pitot heat off as well. So those things could be done. Those things and waiting for the taxi and instruction would have been probably better to do, but overall not too bad. And happy with the result.
Heading, was that 250 and maintain.
All right, so there's number 4 in the books, guys. Let's look at number 5.
Delta 219, Rebecca is correct.
See what we need to do. This one's a little bit more involved, okay? This is what we're going to do. We go from Nashua to a controlled airport of our choice, an untowered airport of our choice, and then we return to Nashua. There's 3 legs in this flight, so we're going to do them one leg at a time, although yeah, don't enter controlled airspace, pattern per ATC instruction, proper untowered airport ops, VFR cruise altitude for each segment, communicates intentions. The example flights that they give, now there's some information in here about reading METARs, which we already kind of know. We'll go through the communications as we get there. The example destinations that it gives are Lebanon and Concord. Lebanon being the controlled one and Concord being the non-controlled one. So we're just going to go ahead and go with that. Cruising altitudes, again, we talked about on the last one. Method of navigation we'll go over in just a moment. Again, it's saying you don't have to do GPS. You can use visual navigation. We will try to do some of that. Yeah, it's talking all about some visual landmarks that you can use. VFR flight plan, they want Nashua in the arrival and departure airport, and then the 2 airports that you plan to visit in the route. WINGS VFR 5. So that's the way we'll file it. Nick, there's no restriction. Nick says, is WINGS not for real-world pilots, or can I still do it? Nick, there's no restrictions on VATSIM as to what flights you can and can't do, except for military-type stuff, virtual special ops groups, military and police-type stuff. You are a VATSIM pilot. You are entitled to do any of these flights that you want to do. What were the predictions? I need to kind of scroll back there. 85, 89, 88, 100. So 85, stab to the face, was the closest one, but I don't think any of y'all predicted it would be as soft of a touchdown as it was. Agent Bravo 7 predicted a bit of a floater, and she wasn't completely wrong, but it wasn't that bad a floater, I didn't think. Anyway, so let's use the ones
551, wind
that let's use the ones that are in the example, just to keep it consistent. We'll go with Lebanon and Concord, LEB and CON. Let's go back over here to Sky Vector, blank out the one we got. I find it easier just to type it in here. KASH, KLEB, KASH is what I meant to say. KCON and then KASH again, and it'll automatically pop the first and last one into your origin and destination. So we're going to start by going outbound on this 340. Oh, we're off the edge of the TAC chart, so we'll have to go back to the regular VFR chart, and we can lose the layers menu there. 340 outbound.
Air 7 Yankee Zulu, runway 22 right, lump and width.
And I think what we'll do, guys, is we'll
Delta 219, wind 2.
We'll just look for some visual landmarks that we can use. This Sunapee Lake will be a pretty obvious one, and that'll be, is that 18 miles out? Okay, so that'll be, you know, kind of when we should start talking to Lebanon Tower. What's some other obvious ones we can use?
Turn right heading 210.
I don't know if we've got any other obvious ones.
I'm sorry, JetBlue 1260, make it heading, actually continue on heading of 1.
We can go north. See where we don't want to go right through the Manchester Charlie. I think we want to avoid the Manchester Charlie.
Yeah, 47, 5 miles from Noli, maintain 4,000 until established on localizer, cleared ILS runway 22 left approach.
Cleared to ILS, turn 2 left, and we'll descend to...
Yeah, here's what we'll do, guys.
Special aircraft observation, India now current, altimeter 2992.
Here's what we'll do. We'll go west. We'll look for Dillon Hopkins. We're not going to land there, but we're just going to look for that. So that's 34 miles west. And then from there, we'll just kind of north and west intercept this river. This is the Connecticut River, which I think was the same one we were flying up a few streams ago, I think. Yep, Connecticut River. So instead of then going to Sunapee Lake, we'll just keep going up the river. Claremont is, as a matter of fact, right where we cut in to head west toward Rutland. So this is almost exactly where we were a couple streams ago. But when we pass this Claremont Airport, and we'll see this Artist State Airport on our left, and we'll have this NDB 233 tuned in, so we can have an additional means of telling when we're close to Lebanon. Matter of fact, we'll know right when we pass over that 344, I'm sorry, that 233 NDB, we're 16 miles out, and we need to start calling for our arrival. So there we go, 34 miles on a 296, so essentially a 300. We'll pass Dillon Hopkins, and then we'll kind of turn northbound and pick up the river. That'll be our plan for the first part here. We got Johnny Kaput with us. Thank you, Johnny. Appreciate you being here. We got, oh my goodness, I missed SoCal app. SoCal app had followed us a little bit ago. So I apologize, SoCal. I hope that you're still here so I can say thank you for that, but I missed that before. If I was preoccupied with what I was doing at the time, I apologize. I normally try to catch those, but thank you for being here. All right. And then north of that NDB, we'll kind of continue to follow the river. So we'll just put that over there. Fuel, yeah, 19 in the left, 24 in the right, so we'll go ahead and switch over to the right tank for a little bit. But we still got plenty, so we're fine there. All right, we
Navy 7 Zulu 499, descend to maintain 1000.
Go ahead and file our flight plan here. Flight plan is going to be VFR, ash to ash, dust to dust. We'll call it VFR, KLEB and KCON. And we're WINGS VFR 5, and we're still slant alpha, everything else there's. I think, altitude. Let's talk about altitude. We're pretty much going to be westbound for this first one. Looks like we got to be at 4,500. If we're at 4,500, we'll be above. Any terrain over here will be... Is there any airspace we need to watch out for? Not really. So 4,500 should do us as far as the terrain goes, so that's what we'll file. 4,500. Alright, let's get that filed. Oh, and then what's the departure time? We'll call the departure time. Well, we're going to call this a 2-hour flight. And we'll say we've got 3 hours available. And the departure time is going to be 02:25. Alright, so we get that refiled. That's a chance to mess with it. Okay.
Yeah, 2367 Boston Center, 5x5.
Alright. Crack open wings. I mean, crack open, yeah. It gives you wings. Red Bull number 2. We'll make our call when we are ready to taxi. But again, let's head back up to the top of the list here.
Yeah, 4847 appears we're through the localizer.
Planes are still, this plane's still running. So everything in that checklist is done. Flight plan is sent. We probably don't have a METAR here, but we can check. I'm sorry, we don't have an ATIS here, but we can check METAR. We'll see what Nashua is reporting. Variable at 3. 29990. So we'll set 29990 here. We'll see. Looks like it's reading 145 or so, 150 feet. And we know that it's 200 is the actual field elevation, so it's still reading a little bit low. But within about 75 is probably fine, so we'll leave that as is. What else? Comm radios are set. We're already talking to the rate controller. We don't have to attain an IFR clearance. We're just going to call for taxi when we're ready. Nav and ADF tuners, really the only radio navigation we need to set would be the beacon up here, 233.
Boston at GPS 137, but level 27 there.
So we'll set that down here.
Boston Center, hello, descend and maintain level 240.
2, 3, and then we press it, and then we can do, there's the, okay, good. And then we can swap them, yeah, 233. Not receiving anything on that just yet. As you can see, it's still parked in that 3 o'clock position, but just leave it there for now. 4,500 is what we had said. Our target was, again, probably mostly hand flying. We'll see. See what kind of mood I'm in. Heading bug is needed. We're probably going to depart 3-2. So we will set the...
Contact Boston approach 133.0.
And 317 is the actual runway heading, so we'll just set that for now until we're told something different by the tower controller. We know the flaps are operable because we were just using them a minute ago. Trim can be kind of set back into the takeoff range. And I think we're ready. We can go ahead and get our taxi light on. And
contact Boston approach 133.0.
Again, we're kind of expecting, if we're going to take off straight ahead, we're kind of expecting to taxi back over our right-hand shoulder. So we'll call him just for a second and see what he says. Again, we're kind of parked up here under the control tower, facing this direction, so we expect, probably Charlie Alpha to 3-2 and out is what we would plan for. Center Mooney 514 Delta Victor.
514 Delta Victor, stand by.
Stand by, okay. We will do that.
87 Zulu 499, it'll be...
Oh, you know what we'll do this time? We'll go ahead and set our flaps for takeoff.
499, thanks.
For departure, UPS 1905 will be passing through 2,400 up to 4,000.
GPS 1905 Boston Center, radar contact, climb maintain 15,000, turn left track to Hartford.
Okay, we'll call it VFR northwestbound. We are going to Lebanon.
JetBlue 1268, turn left heading 310.
Pretty sure the idea is not to get flight following. No, they want you to get flight following for this one.
GPS 437, descend and maintain 16,000, LaGuardia altimeter 29903.
16,000, LaGuardia altimeter 29903, UPS 437.
So one thing they note in that description is that when you file a VFR flight plan on VATSIM, it gets treated as though it is an IFR flight plan marked VFR, which is not really how VFR flight plans in the real world work. So even though we've filed that on VATSIM, to be really realistic about a VFR call, you would still give them that information over the radio. So when we call and say, you know, we're looking for VFR northwest bound departure out of Nashua, we're going to have to tell them also we're you know, Mooney 20 Papa slant Alpha, cruising altitude 4,500, destination Concord. You know, in VATSIM they can see all that because we filed it, but in the real world, you know, filing a VFR flight plan isn't the same as filing an IFR flight plan, even though they're, you know, kind of similar.
68, 8 miles from Motel, turn left heading 2.
Kind of similar in
maintain 2,000.
in VATSIM, they're not as similar in the real world.
Runway 24 approach.
2500 clear dial left,
River 7 Yankee Zulu, the Bradley altimeter 29990.
Say again for 7 Yankee Zulu.
7 Yankee Zulu, the Bradley altimeter 29990.
29990 for Bradley, 7 Yankee Zulu.
Alright, 5082 Boston Center.
Yeah, and as Agent Bravo 7 kind of explains it further, she's exactly correct. VFR plans aren't really even available to the controllers and aren't looked at unless you go missing.
Yeah, 85082, Burlington to controlled airport. You're going to be full stop, you said?
Yeah, whereas on VATSIM, you file an IFR, you file a VFR, either way the controller gets it and they see what your intentions are and what your, you know, cruise altitude and all that stuff is. So it's they're treated very similarly on VATSIM, where it's not really the case.
850, okay, that works for me. Enter left down runway 33.
We are going to need to be patient here, guys. He's one center controller.
850, I need to stay on my frequency. If you have a second comm, you can monitor that. But
it looks like he does have a Boston approach controller now. That's going to take some of the workload off of him. But he's got still got quite a number of aircraft in the airspace. And it sounds like a good number of GA ones.
8502, you don't need flight following, but you do need two-way radio communications to enter the Burlington class Charlie airspace.
And it sounds like he's doing a fair bit of explaining to the...
Number 85082, flight wind at Burlington 180 at 9 runway 33, clear to land.
Call that 85082 flight, meaning that it's two planes operating as one unit. So these two guys are essentially kind of flying together, and
1268 contact Bradley Tower 120.3.
They're saving him some comms by getting their clearances as a pair rather than individually.
GPS 473 Lima airspace to the south, New York approach offline, radar service terminated, frequency changes.
Oh, Agent Bravo 7 says that while that's true for the FAA, it's different in European and Asian authorities, where the flight plan is mandatory a lot of times and you're treated according to it, right? Even VFR. Fair point. Most of my knowledge and experience comes from the U.S. Oh, and Nick Gressel's up and flying now. He's GoJet 833. Oh yeah, you're over there near the coastline.
Number 4 Delta Vector, thanks for your patience. Go ahead with your request.
Yes, sir. We got the weather at Nashua. We're on the ground here looking for a VFR northwest bound departure. VFR Wings 5, and we're looking flight following 4,500 Concord. M20 Papa slant Alpha.
Or 514 Delta Victor, roger. squawk is 4762, departure on my frequency.
4762, departure your frequency, 5-4 Delta Victor.
5-4 Delta Victor, back correct, runway 32, taxi via Alpha.
32 via Alpha, 5-4 Delta Victor. Alright, I think I got the taxi light on already. Yep, it's on. Alright, so we'll try not to run over these edge markers here. Keyword being try, you know. You do what you can. So we're still, I thought this might be Alpha. It looks like it's not. Looks like we're still kind of on the ramp area here. Oh, well. Does it have 2 parallel taxiways? Let's look at the...
Yankee Zulu, proceed straight in, runway 24.
Yeah, so that second parallel line isn't really designated, so it looks like the Alpha's technically over here. Alright, going to be doing quite a bit of hand flying on this one too, guys, so again, bear with me if I'm not completely on top of the chat. Although, as the furry co-pilot tends to remind me of things that I want to talk about, I will elaborate on the message that he's just posted into the chat. So just want to remind you, if you're new to the stream tonight, or even if you have been around here for a while, just to explain the alphabet points that you get there at the bottom of the chat panel. Little serial icon down there at the lower left. If you click on that or next to that or however that works, it'll tell you how many of those points that you have. If you get up to the point where you've got 1,000 of those sitting there, you can redeem those for a raffle ticket into our monthly drawing. If you want to save those up toward the end of the month, we're going to do those drawings. We do the drawings at the end of each month. So if you want to save up and try and get 5,000 of those, you redeem 5,000, you'll get 6 entries for the price of 5 into that monthly raffle. Again, we do the drawing at the end of the month. It's for a $25 gift card to either Amazon.com or the Xplane.org store. Always winner's choice on that. So if you want to put in to redeem some of those channel points, please feel free. If you want to save up to the later in the month and see if you can get that extra entry, 6 for the price of 5.
Victor, on-course departure is approved. Wind variable at 3, runway 32, clear for takeoff.
All right, on course approved, and 32 clear for takeoff, 5-4 Delta Victor. All right, so on course is going to be about a 300 is what we said. So rest of the lights can come on. Whoops, a little grass mowing here. Don't mind me. Heato heat. Trim and flaps are set. Let's go. Sim Caesar with the subscription. Thank you so much, Sim. Good to see you here. Appreciate your continued support of the channel. All right, Mooney, let's go. A little bit of right rudder, keep it in to the center line. 60 knots, about 80 knots. We'll go flying. Pitch for 85. There we go. Gear can come up right away. Manifold pressure can come down to 25. Matter of fact, we'll just take it straight to 24. 24 and 24. We'll pitch for 85. Last can come up.
GPS 1905, descend by the robot 3 arrival, runway 22 left, false altimeter 2992.
We're definitely through 400 feet AGL. We'll go ahead and turn on course. On course for us again was about a 300, and we're going to go looking for Dylan Hopkins and the Connecticut River. So that's part 1 here. Let's go ahead and set the heading bug. And so SkyVector says Dylan Hopkins was a 296. Since we went slightly straight out, it's probably a little bit less than that now, probably about a 290. So that's what we'll steer toward here. Yeah, there we go, 290 in the bug. We're going to take it up to 4,500. Sim Caesar's been subscribed for 6 months. Wow. Half a year. In the blink of an eye, my friend.
7049 depart Mink, heading 040.
Roger, 040 after Mink, 499.
Alright, we can kind of back the view off here.
Boston Center.
So when you're in climb, you kind of don't want to lean unless you're in that blue arc. So we'll lean to keep it in the blue arc, but it wants to jump up, so we'll just leave it fully rich.
Contacting tower
That's fine.
120.3. Have a good one, sir.
514 Delta Victor, radar contact, VFR altitude at your discretion, resume on navigation.
Resume on navigation, VFR altitudes, our discretion, passing 3,105 before Victor.
Boston Center, UPS 1905, just confirm we're going to have the ILS 22 left.
UPS 1905, I believe you can expect that, but it'll be given by approach.
Alright, roger, UPS 1905.
Alright, and so we took off at about 9:25. It's a 34-mile leg, so about 11 minutes. Mooney turns about 3 miles a minute.
330-1905, thank you.
So we'll see if we can pick up some other visual clues to see when we're about to join this Connecticut River.
Delta 2050, what runway should I be expecting into Boston?
Delta 2050,
Check the ATIS.
22 left.
Runway 22 left into Boston, copy.
Alright, getting ready to level it off at 4,500. Start pulling power down.
Diamond 616, Mike Lima.
Camjet 833, contact Boston approach 133.0, go ahead.
133, good night.
And a 22 and a 22.
Diamond calling Boston center, go ahead.
Yep, sorry about that. At GA ramp, ready to taxi VFR.
Alright, 22 and 22. So the power settings I use for the Mooney are not exactly what's in the pilot operating handbook, but I round them just because it makes it real easy to remember. So 25 and 25 is takeoff, 24 and 24 is climb, 23 and 23 is cruise, but sometimes lower altitudes I even use 22 and 22 because 23 and 23 will put you right up in that yellow band for airspeed. So 22 and 22 kind of more of an economy cruise maybe. All right, let's see if we can start figuring out where we are. So we got a couple of these little lakes up here to our left, and a couple more little lakes up here further to our left. We got a fairly prominent peak kind of straight off ahead of us here. Let's see if we can correlate any of that to what's on the chart. Well, there's 3169 dead ahead. That looks like it might be right before Dillon Hopkins, so we'll aim for that. I think that's a pretty good bet that that's what we're looking at, with these smaller lakes ahead to the left. Yeah, so we'll aim for that 3,200-foot peak. We should be well above it at 4,500. We'll fly westbound over the airport. Again, it's at 488 feet, so we'll be well above traffic pattern there, so no worries. And then from Dillon Hopkins and the town of Keene, we'll turn north and west on about a 345, and we'll pick up the river heading north and west. Gotta be careful. We have a few little peaks here. Make sure we're looking at the right one. Saturn 30 just had a spaz attack there. Hope the Saturn 30 is okay. Welcome back to the stream. Appreciate you being here. An obfog, or OBFG. I'm just going to call you obfog. I don't know what I called you last time. It wasn't that. Probably be something different every time I see you. But welcome back. Good to see you here. It's drifting up to 5,000. Let's drift it back down. Yeah, I still think that that most prominent one out there is where Dylan Hopkins is hiding. We haven't passed, as far as I can tell, we haven't passed the Connecticut River yet, so I think we're still okay to stay westbound until we see that river. So, Obfog, if there's a different way you'd like me to say that, please let me know. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I just really don't know what to call you. But if you're okay with Obfog, we'll just go with that.
Contact Boston approach 133.0.
33 nothing for United 2367. Have a great evening. Thanks for being there.
Delta 2050 descend maintain level 230.
Even at 22 and 22, we're kind of flirting with that yellow band of airspeed. Now, I was descending a little bit there. But we're still kind of touching the edge of that yellow.
87 Zulu 499, descend and maintain 2,500.
Descend and maintain 2,500, Navy 7 Zulu 499.
Alright, so do we have a more prominent and somewhat squiggly lake just prior to that peak? Let's see if we see. Old, bald, fat guy. I tell you what, we'll go with Obfog. I'm probably, if you're OBFG2, I'm probably OBFG1. So I think we're in good company here, bud. I don't know what your definition of old is. I feel older than I am. I'm not young, though. We'll stick with Obfog. Alright, so there's a pretty good smattering of lakes there that I don't know. I mean, I guess that still might be... Yeah, and that might be... Okay, so that might be that Jaffrey Silver Airport down there to our left. Kind of nestled in right above that lake there. Yep, so I think that's what we're seeing there. So that would indicate to me that the peak just ahead is indeed the one that's hiding Dylan Hopkins. And so right on the other side of that, we should see an airport, and then up ahead to the right, maybe a river. Looking good so far, guys. The pilotage skills on display. I haven't had them that long, so I'm drifting down. The closer I get to this peak, the closer my altitude gets to its charted elevation. That's not a good thing. You kind of want the opposite of that to be happening. Alright. You know what? My phone is squawking at me because it's about to die. Make sure none of this is uh-oh.
Delta 2050 descend by the Roebuck 3 arrival, runway 22 left, Boston, altimeter 292.
Altimeter 292, descend via the Roebuck 3 arrival to runway 22 left.
KB7 Zulu 499, maintain 210.
Yeah, the little work stuff I gotta
210 knots to left.
put on the calendar to address first thing tomorrow. So right over top of this this peak, we should see an airport straight off of our nose. And does it have that little? I think it does have that little diagonal crossing runway at the top. I think so. Kind of hard to see with the plotted line there, but let's just pull up a airport diagram and take a peek at it. Yeah, I'm not sure that's exactly what it looks like, but I'd say that's a good bet. So from over the airport, and again, let's make sure we're 4,500-ish not encroaching on its traffic in any way. I think we can go ahead and lean the engine out to 30 degrees ridge of peak, or 50 degrees ridge of peak. So if it peaks about 1575, then we'll lean it to about 1525. How are we on fuel balance? We'll keep it on the right tank for a little bit. So if we're crossing over the airport here, then we want to turn to about a 345 and start looking for that river up ahead. I think I see a river. I spy something blue, guys. I spy something blue and wet.
Boston Center, good evening, November 1240 Hotel Foxtrot with you.
124 Hotel Foxtrot, Boston Center, hello, the Bradley altimeter 2990.
2990 on the altimeter.
And if that is indeed Dylan Hopkins, I don't see this tiny little lake off to the... Oh, maybe. So if this is indeed Dylan Hopkins, there's a tiny little lake just off of the approach end of the northbound runway, and then there's a more substantial lake just to the west of it. And I think we are seeing a small lake just off of the approach end, and then a larger lake to the west.
I'll do 15 minutes for one turn here.
So I think at this point we want to be at about a 345 heading.
87 Zulu 499 turn left.
Is that what I said? 345? Yeah.
Stop turn 300
So there's 340, there's 345 there. Again, we're not really navigating to or from anything on that HSI, and I'm kind of ignoring the needle. And if we're going north of the airport, is there another lake that we're passing right over? Maybe one of these little ones. Yeah, the size and shape of the lakes isn't matching up exactly, so I'm kind of just... I'm continuing to talk through it because I'm just not 100% convinced on what I'm looking at. But it does seem like there is a north to south waterway here, so I'm starting to feel more at ease that we are joining the Connecticut River here. So I think we're good. Do we have? And we do have. Okay, good. So that we do have that NDB up ahead as well on frequency 233. So that's a good cross check because that is. As long as we kind of keep that to our north, that is up here. So if we're joining the river somewhere around here, we're going north, and the NDB is kind of a little bit off to our right, and that's correct. It's there, and I cut it off on the snip here, but the frequency for that is 233. We really want to get precise, which we should. We should listen to the Morse identifier of that and make sure that it matches what's there. But we certainly know that position-wise it seems to match, and frequency-wise it matches. So even if we don't do the Morse identifier, I think we've got a pretty good authority that it's the right one. Again, to be technically precise, though, as an IFR pilot, you should play the identifier for any stations that you tune in and make sure that they do match. It's a little bit of the lazy man's way to assume that if it's in the right position, that it's the right station.
Roger, left 260, maintain 2,500.
That is one of the many different things you can do as an IFR pilot that will get you killed.
2983.
2983, 514 Delta Victor. So we'll scooch that down. Well, that's good because at 2983 we're a little closer to our altitude adherence. Might actually have to take a little break out of the cockpit, guys. I think what we'll do, the WINGS 5 is 3 legs. It's It's Nashua to a controlled airport, and then it's a controlled airport to a non-towered airport, and then it's that non-towered airport back to Nashua. So, will I have enough bladder capacity to do all three of those before I head to the little pilot's room? No, I think there's a good chance that, excuse me guys, there's a good chance that when we get down at Lebanon,
Is it much further, Papa Smurf? Yes, it is!
Nuke Dukem is here. Nuke Dukem, how are ya? Yeah, it's funny. Furry Copilot's talking about the progress bar at the top of the page, and there isn't one on Flight Sim 2020. I don't have one working yet. That overlay is for X-Plane. But I'll tell ya, we departed from Nashua. We went west. We kind of overflew Dillon Hopkins. We're picking up the Connecticut River. We're passing this NDB at Claremont, and then we're into Lebanon Airport. That's the first of three legs of this WINGS training flight number 5. We can kind of go back out of this here. WINGS VFR 5. The second leg will be Lebanon to Concord, and the third leg will be Concord back to Nashua. So at this point, we're pretty much just following the river.
Delta 1201 Boston Center, good evening. Descend and maintain level 270.
Still kind of want to be at 4,500 now. Once we pass that NDB, we're only 18 miles out, so we do at that point want to start descending. The field elevation at Lebanon, is what? And we want to start figuring out what runway we want there too. 603. So pattern altitude will be 1603 or 1600 round figures. The Mooney doesn't have a relief tube. No, not in the home cockpit. No, the wife doesn't like it when I do that. This is what we got. And this one's still half full, so, you know. Since it's kind of the same color, I don't want to mix it up. All right, let's check the weather at our destination, KLWM. I like just doing that through vPilot, METAR. KLWM. 170 at 3. We already got the altimeter 2983. So 170 at 3 suggests we want to land kind of southbound. And it is a towered field, so we'll kind of assume that we're going to get 18. If he gives us a right downwind, we'll stay to the left and then go to the right like that. If we stay to the right, we go to the left like that. We got Adam Aviation Geek hitting us with a raid. Thank you so much for that, Adam Aviation Geek. Good to see you here, man. Appreciate the support. Those of you joining us fresh from Adam Aviation Geek's stream, we are in Boston Virtual ARTCC on VATSIM. We're flying the Mooney Ovation, the Carenado Mooney Ovation for Flight Sim 2020. And we're up in the Boston area. We're doing the Boston Virtual ARTCC has a series of training flights that they call Wings over New England. And we're doing VFR training flight number 5, which is actually a 3-hopper, 3-legger. We're on our way from Nashua up the Connecticut River and heading to Lebanon Airport in Lebanon, New Hampshire. And just as soon as we pass, so I think that the, let's see, we can kind of see that as we pass that NDB is around the same time. Where's that really tall peak to our left here? Kind of ahead and to our left. So I think by the time we pass, yeah, that NDB is starting to kind of edge over like it's going to pass us to our right. So as soon as it passes us, and I think that tall peak is on our left, I think after that tall peak we start descending to about maybe 2100. That'll be 500 above pattern altitude. And then once we get our pattern entry instruction from the controller, we'll start making our pattern entry. Again, we're kind of assuming runway 18 will be active. We can actually, in fact, 182 is the runway heading. Let's do this, guys. Let's tune that HSI to nothing. It's currently way off course from wherever we're tuned to, and I don't even care what we're tuned to at this point. Hold on one second. Whoever was that did something there, we appreciate your support. Just bear with me 1 second, and I will say thank you more properly. I'm going to tune that to nothing. We're going to flip the arrow around to 182. That is going to be the runway heading at our destination. And so that'll give us a nice visual reference as to our pattern turn. So we can kind of use that yellow arrow there, yellow-green arrow, to gauge what our heading should be in each stage of the traffic pattern now. The Buzz is here. Late to the raid, he says. And also hit that follow button for us. Thank you, The Buzz. Or is it the Buzz? I'm going with the Buzz.
Number 764 Papa Boston Center.
Okay, so now we're passing that NDB, and like I said, it looked like that tall peak was kind of the next thing up ahead to our left, and you see the river up ahead. So at this point, what's the? Yeah, so if we delete this reference point here. No. Close that. Delete this reference point. Thank you. All right, so we're 16 miles. Is that what that says? 16 miles in the 027.
200 feet for 4,000 feet.
And if we kind of follow the river, the airport is just east of the river. So we can kind of just
Maintain 340, American 302.
stay on the water. I'm kind of wondering, guys, I could be wrong. Kind of wondering if that's the airport right there. I could be wrong, it could be further up. But let's keep an eye on that spot.
Okay, 302, turn left direct to
And go ahead and start descending here.
Left direct to Veers, American 302.
About 2,100, like I said. The field elevation is 600. We're going to go 1,500 above that, so about 2,100.
Taxi via Charlie.
The Buzz, that's what we're going to go with. Okay, very good. So we're going to call ourselves about 12, 13 miles south of...
1073 descended by the robot carrier arrival, runway 22 left, Boston altimeter 2992.
Now we do have flight following, so technically we are already in contact with this guy. But just to make sure we're okay to enter that delta, just touch up with him and remind him that we want to land at Lebanon. Boston Center Mooney 514 Delta Victor is now 3,700 descending, about 12 miles south of Lebanon, inbound for full stop. We got the weather, looking for runway 18 if available.
514 Delta Victor, ready to proceed straight in runway 18.
We're coming from the south. Do you want us on a downwind of some sort?
I'm sorry, it's already right down runway 18.
Right downwind 18, 514 Delta Victor. Trick question. He tried to stump us.
For 1 Charlie, sir, the Burlington altimeter 2981.
So we're slowly enriching mix. even though, and slowly spinning the props up faster, even though we're not really adding power. We're kind of like downshifting your car going down a hill. You're using the engine to slow you down. Even though you're not really stepping on the gas, you're just shifting to where you have higher RPMs to do the same downhill motion. It's always the comparison that I make. Don't want to descend too much here, guys. So we're kind of watching this terrain. I'm still looking at this kind of lighter brown patch up ahead. No, it doesn't look like that's an airport after all. So the airport might be further up than that. So we don't quite have it in sight yet. But again, we'll get down to 2100, we'll level it off. Again, from the VFR chart, we know it's to the right of the river. So if we stay on the river, we'll end up on a right downwind.
4211, just to let you know, we have a media on board.
Delta 4211, roger.
Alright, since we're at 2100, we're still a little ways from the airport yet. So I think what I'll do is I'll
514 Delta Victor, wind 180 at 3, runway 18, cleared line.
clear line 18514 Delta Victor.
And are you going to just do a full stop taxi back, or you like a touch and go? Either works for me.
Full stop, and we'll head to the little pilot's facilities in there.
Roger.
I'm sure he needed to know that. Alright, so where's is that? Okay, so there's a runway of some sort. It looks like
240, my discretion, we'll call you leaving.
okay, so the arrow is kind of pointing over our right shoulder, so that runway that kind of goes over our right shoulder is the one we're on a downwind for. So we'll kind of come in. Now that we're entering the pattern, we'll get down to 1600. Again, we'll go ahead and spin those props back up.
1 descend by the Roebuck 3 arrival, runway 22 left, Boston altimeter 29902.
We'll get on that. So at this point, I'm using that arrow to tell me when I'm on a downwind heading. Definitely want to come to the left here. We want to be at 1600 because the field elevation is 600. Yeah, I know, it's going to yell at me about the power being low until I can get flaps and gear out. So I'm waiting for the speed to come down through the top of the white arc.
Boston Center, November 160 Bravo Alpha with you.
Alright, there's the white arc. We'll get flaps and flaps 1 and gear.
6 Bravo Alpha, Boston,
Continuing to slow and descend. Continuing to try and fly the downwind. I don't want to get too close to this terrain here. So I guess we'll probably just need to tighten up the downwind, fly the downwind a little bit closer into the airport. I would say that a good turn-in point for the base to final would be kind of that wider spot. Kind of right over the town and the wider spot of the water there, so we'll aim for that. That might even be a little far out yet. Alright, so there's 1600, we'll level it off. Melvin Leroy is here. You guys can start putting some landing rate predictions into the chat. 33 was the number to beat on the first one. I floated it a little bit to get that, but not too badly. But you can, I certainly am not claiming that I'm going to do that good for the rest of the night, but you guys can use that to gauge your predictions accordingly. Okay, so there we are, kind of off over our right shoulder. I think we go ahead and start turning in base now, guys. Go ahead and get flaps 2 on the base turn. Gear's already down. 1 more notch of flaps to go. Make sure we do this nice, gentle descent. We have the green arrow to kind of give us a sense of when we're perpendicular. And we're down almost to 80 knots. We'll go ahead and get that 3rd notch of flaps in. Alright, we got our runway in sight there.
Approach 133.0, good night.
So again, we're slightly to the right of a perpendicular course,
Contact Boston Approach
but you know, we're kind of modifying the base because of the terrain a little bit here. Speed control was good. I didn't have to use the Mooney brakes this time. There we go. There's our final. I don't see any kind of PAPI lights. Nope. So we're going to have to just eyeball this one.
And Boston Center 61 Charlie Sierra, we're back in the wheelhouse.
61 Charlie Sierra, roger, the Lebanon altimeter, or correction, the Burlington altimeter 2981.
Alright, center line's looking good. Overshot just a little bit. Just a little bit. 75 down final, 70 over the numbers is what we're shooting for. Speed-wise, flaps are set and check, gears down. Landing clearance is received. Yeah, I think you guys are probably in the right range. I think 33 was a fluke. Let's control the speed.
I just want to tell you both, good luck. We're all counting on it.
75 over the numbers, 70 on touchdown is kind of where you want to be.
Number 6, Juliet Romeo, Boston Center, roger.
Alright, angle of descent seems pretty good to me. Center line, of course, this VATSIM 2020 is marking this runway as closed. We're ignoring that, guys.
Boston Center, Air Canada 368, good evening.
In all fairness, we're going to ignore that.
633 Boston Center, hold climb, maintain level 340. Air Canada,
yeah, there's a little bit of a float there. Okay, this is a worse float than the first one.
Repeat that, Air Canada 368.
110 is the winning number. Still, overall happy with the execution.
Maintain level 390, Air Canada 368.
Go ahead and get the flap stowed. So on 1-8, looks like there's no more taxi.
No traffic observed between you and the Goodspeed Airport radar service.
No more taxiways down there, so I guess we've got no choice but to back taxi it. So we'll back taxi it up to Alpha 2 and go off to the left.
4 Hotel Foxtrot, wind 190 at 7, runway 24.
Duke Dukem did hit the follow. Thank you so much for that. Shepard says it was good. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I guess I wound up a little fast on final. I felt like, you know, 75 and 70 was pretty much where I was. But I do know that Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 does exaggerate the ground effect a little bit, so I can maybe chalk some of it up to that. But yeah, I mean, I did float that one a little long for sure. Center 5 and 4 Delta Victor is Lebanon off of 18 at Alpha 2.
Delta Victor, roger. So you're taxiing to the north ramp.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
514 Delta Victor, taxi by Alpha 2, Alpha Bravo 2, cross runway 7.
Alright, Alpha 2, Alpha Bravo 2 to the north ramp, crossing runway 7, 514 Delta Victor. Actually, this building right here looks very classy. Looks like we might be able to get a drink if we go in there. But we'll go ahead and do what we told them we would do. Is that a hotel or a school? Anybody know? Lebanon Airport, New Hampshire? Is that, what is that, guys? Do we know what that is? Is that just the airport operations building? Pretty fancy looking building. How many points if you run over a Fiat?
Boston Center, Southwest 1329, on 7,000.
Oh, and we can,
29 Boston Center, hold climb, maintain level 2.
get the P-10 heat off. Even though he said it was clear to cross, and we want to check. Get the Strobe lights, recognition lights, landing lights off. Alright. I'll get over here out of the way.
American 302, Lima Airspace to the South New York Center offline. Radar service terminated. Frequency change is approved. Good day.
Alright, parking brake is on.
American 302, thank you.
Taxi lights can come off. And those guys can stay on. Alright, so looks like we can switch it over to the left tank while we're here on the ramp, so we'll go and do that. And I think we are good. Let's get ready to do, can we get a profile? Nuke Dukem, what would you like a profile for? I'm not sure what you're asking. Profile of the plane, is that what you're asking?
11 descend by DJ Fund to arrival, runway 22 left of Boston, altimeter 29902.
There's your Mooney. Get a little bit better shot there.
South of 4211 descend by DJ
Side shot of the plane during takeoff? Definitely not, because I'm going to stay in the cockpit for that. But yeah, the Mooney Ovation, gorgeous little plane, man. Let's show you first of all the 110. I think you guys mostly know that I'm honest. Whoops, that's not what I was trying to take a screenshot of. Come back here. You guys mostly know that I'm honest, but anybody new to the channel, if I say it's 110, it's 110. Before we take the second leg, so we're going to, this is the VFR Wings Flight 5, Boston Virtual ARTCC's training flights. And this one is a 3-hopper. We've done the first one, now we've got to do the second one, which is going to be Lebanon to Concord. Mostly honest, it says good fixins. Lebanon to Concord. So we can go ahead and let's just go KLEB to KCON. This one's pretty easy. We'll go eastbound. We'll pick up Newfound Lake, right there next to Bills, who I hope the Ravens beat this weekend. Then south and east down the Merrimack River, right to Concord Airport, and that is non-towered. So we'll be over on Unicom making our calls for Concord. So we'll talk about our navigation plan and our communications plan when we get back into the cockpit. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get you a nice little view of the airport here. I don't think there's a whole lot of activity going on at it to see, but we'll get you a view to go out on while I take a quick break out of the cockpit, and we'll be back with you for part 2 of 3 of VFR Wings Flight number 5 here in the Boston Virtual ARTCC. Back with you in a few. Smoke them if you got them, guys.
Contact New York approach 120.8, good night.
120.8, thank you. Good night. 6 Bravo.
Air Canada 368 descend by DJ Fund to arrival runway 22 left, Boston, altimeter 29902.
Descend via the DJ Fund to arrival, runway 22 left, Air Canada 368.
And over to the Foxtrot contact ground 1.5, good night. Oh, I'm sorry, it's offline. You said you wanted the east rim? 24 Hotel Foxtrot, taxi by Charlie Echo.
Alright, friends, back with you. Yeah, so the buzz says, I did VFR 1 to 5 and IFR 1 to 19, but I'm scared of that helicopter one. Yeah, and that I was saying the same thing to our friend from ZBW, what's his name? YB? ZBW-YB, I think is his name. Y something or other. And, yeah, he was saying the same thing, that he was kind of intimidated by that. The thing is, all it is just a VFR route. It's even though it's called a helicopter route, it can still certainly be used by anybody, fixed wing or rotor. So we'll show you that tonight. Hopefully we'll have time. Hopefully the center controller will stay on. Let's scoot the chair back in a little bit. Sorry, guys. The next. So the next leg, like I said, we're going to go VFR eastbound, southeastbound really, but we're going to go basically straight east. We'll pick up this newfound lake. Again, we got this tall peak at 3155 to watch for, so we'll have to, you know, we might not go all the way out to the lake, but I think if we kind of see that peak and we kind of start, you know, that way, pick up the river heading southbound. But if we can see the lake ahead, that'll be enough of a landmark to let us know that we are where we think we are. Oh, Speedway. I wonder what Speedway that is.
Good evening. Citation November 616 Delta Lima with you, flight level 430.
616.
Oh, we got to be careful. We got another kind of a tall one down here that we want to make sure we don't mistake one for the other and end up much closer to the airport than we think we will be. So, got to watch for that, guys.
Number 6, Juliet Ruin, descend and maintain level 240.
Alright, so VFR southeastbound, we're going to be, what's the cruising altitude that we're going to use? I think 3,500 probably. The only reason that says 44 is because of that peak that we're going to avoid. So I think if we plan to cruise at 3,500, we're okay. So we'll go VFR east, southeastbound departure, 3,500 to Concord. We'll go ahead and give those guys a call, and we can tune in 216 as an NDB. Oh, we can actually tune in the Concord VOR, 112.9, and that'll even give us a pretty good distance reference to how far away we are from the airport. So let's do that. 112.9 actually. Not that we need it to navigate, but, and we're not going to have it here on the ground. But we can use it to gauge our distance once we get airborne. Alright, so do we get everything? We get the flaps stowed, the lights all reset, pitot and all that stuff. We can reset the trim. Set the flaps for departure. Flight plan's already sent. We already know what the altimeter is. Field elevation, we know it's reading a little low, but it's reading about 75 feet low, but that's fine. We'll call them when we're ready for taxi. We are going to, yeah, we have that VOR tuned in. Flaps are set and trim is set. We're going to just put this 3,500 into the altitude selector just as a reminder. And I think we're ready to go. Boston Center, Mooney 514 Delta Victor.
Mooney 514 Delta Victor, Boston Center.
We got the weather at Lebanon. We're VFR southeast bound to Concord at 3,500, Mooney 20 Papa Slant Alpha, and ready to taxi.
514 Delta Victor, I'm going to a different squawk for you. Squawk is 4672, and you want runway 18?
Oh, yeah, 4672, and yeah, 18 will be fine. 514 Delta Victor.
Mooney 4 Delta Victor, runway 18, taxi 5 Bravo.
18 Bravo, 514 Delta Victor. Alright. Away we go, guys. Away we go. Original Darkwind has checked in. Alright, so we're at the north ramp. So this taxiway that goes east and west is pretty much the one we want. You're the one that I want. You are the one I want. Ooh, 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 bravo.
Air 621 Charlie Sierra, contact Montreal Center
All right.
128.
And I think you can't really trust the taxiway signs. This says it's alpha. You can't really trust the taxiway signs at most places in Flight Sim 2020 unless it's one of those handcrafted airports. You just have to kind of assume that if it's going in the correct direction, it's the correct one. We want to go eastbound for a departure off 18, so yeah, taxiing to the east. That seems like it's working. And there's the whole short line. Yeah, so it's got the runway number right. It says we're on Alpha short of 18. We're actually on Bravo short of 18. Center 95, report out to Victor short of 18, ready.
54 Delta Victor, on course departure is approved, wind 180 at 4, runway 18, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff 18, on course approved, 54 Delta Victor. I don't think we got the taxi lights on, but we can go ahead and get the rest of the lights on now. And we can get the pitot heat on us as well. Yeah, again, Flight Sim 2020 says this runway is closed. So that's the meaning of those yellow X's over the runway. The chart says otherwise, and I'm going by what's on the chart. Chart says the airport, the runway is open, so we'll go with the runway is open. Flight Sim 2020 doesn't know what it's talking about. All right, takeoff power's coming at you. Airspeed's alive, 60 knots. There's about 80, we'll rotate it. Gear coming up with positive climb. We can pitch for 85. Flaps can come up. And on course, I think we said for us was southeast. What was the heading we wanted? Or actually due east. About a 100 actually.
Maintain 11,000, the opposite correction to Providence, altimeter 2992.
All right, so gears up, flaps up, we'll go 24 and 24. So 24 on the manifold pressure, 24 on the RPMs. Just manually steering it over to about a 100. We'll throw the heading bug over there just as a whoops. Trying to turn the bug and end up scrolling. Same thing happens to me on X-Plane actually. Rather annoying. And we'll twist this until it centers just so we know where that Concorde VOR is, but we're not really navigating to that. We're really just using it as a different distance reference. And now that we're airborne, we do have that distance reference of 38.6 and closing. Alright, so again, manually steering to that heading bug of 100-ish.
Contact passing 2,600, resume on navigation, VFR altitude at your discretion.
Alright, resume on navigation, our discretion is for the altitudes, and passing now 2,800 for verification purposes, 54 altitude.
Aircraft 1569 Street, turning off the arrival, proceed direct to Proby.
3,500, we'll go ahead and...
1569, our autopilot was messing up for a second. We're fixing
Yep, autopilot, he's the worst pilot on VATSIM, he's always messing up. 22 and 22. In this cockpit, we've got nobody to blame but ourselves. What a guy, what a guy. Worst pilot on VATSIM, I swear to God. Alright, so we're having trouble keeping the nose down. We want to keep it level at about 3,500. Again, we're at 22 and 22. Nice economic cruise figures. We are kind of looking for, let's see. we said we were going to be heading towards a large peak and a lake right next to it. Otto's my homeboy, says good fixins. Yeah, Otto and I don't always see eye to eye, but we know this. This is well documented on this channel. All right, what are we looking for again, guys? I completely kind of forgot. So it's 23 miles east. All right, so if we're kind of over this diagonal lake here, I think maybe that one ahead to our left is what we were just looking at on the chart, perhaps. I don't know. You know what? The funny thing is, there's an awful lot of lakes in this area. The other thing that we had said was we were going to be heading straight for a peak at 3155. So if we feel like we're heading straight for the tallest peak ahead of us, then we're probably on the course we intended to be. And again, the plan was to kind of, even though I've plotted it as, you know, kind of a quick out, we're probably just going to do a more of a curved out to join that river, so that we don't get in trouble with this terrain here. So if we see this valley kind of off to our right and veer off kind of to the southeast, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, 205 contact.
And I think this is kind of a good, strong case for this being this valley up ahead of us here. So how are we? We can go ahead and lean out to 50 degrees Rich Peak. Again, you guys that swear by your Lena Peak, you know, your little Lena Peak cult, that's fine. You guys can go ahead and be in your cult. I'll just do 50 degrees Richard Peak. Thank you very much. So we'll start that. Yeah, normally on this channel, when I say cult, I'm referring to Flight Sim Economy. So we maybe have to update the meme list now. I know, good fixins. I know, man. I know. Alright, so once we get kind of to the point where we can see over to the east side of this terrain, we should be able to pick up that rather sizable lake there. Coming off the south of that lake should be the Merrimack River, and that's what we're going to pick up and follow in toward Lebanon. Concord, sorry. We just took off from Lebanon. We're going to Concord. Yeah, we don't need any of those Lena Peak Satan worshippers up in here. Which one of us is the Lean-Anon? Which one of us is part of the Lean-Anon movement here? Crowningham says you can't really do it with a single cylinder head and exhaust gas probe anyway. Yeah. A lot of people will tell you otherwise. The other thing, Crowningham, is that. So we do have some information if we wanted to really do it.
Alright, 7 Kilo Mike, expect ILS from a 2-3 approach to set and maintain 8,000.
Expect number 3 ILS, now to 8,000.
4 Delta Victor, the Manchester altimeter 2987.
2987, 514 Delta Victor. My posse only runs full rich, that's good fixins. Yeah, I tend to run full rich a lot too, mostly because I forget to lean it. Alright, so there's that lake, Newfound Lake, or whatever it was called.
Boston Center, good evening, climb, maintain level 380.
Maintain 380, Delta 7 heavy.
Yeah, right, Northwest Orient. Makes a good point. We just send all of the fuel bills to the... Send all the fuel bills to the Washington, D.C. ARTCC. They pick up the tab for us. going to recenter this just to get, again, just to make sure we're kind of on the same page as to the bearing to the Concord VOR. Not really navigating to that. We're really trying to look for this river that should come off of that lake and head south, and I think we kind of see it there. So it should kind of veer off to our head to our right. I think it's going to be after these little peaks up ahead. The Scooty is with us. Yes, this is the Carenado Mooney Ovation for Flight Sim 2020. If I can get you a outside shot of it here. There we are. Yeah, it's a pay-wear add-on for Flight Sim 2020, correct.
133.0
so there I think it's the Merrimack River, guys. So even though I gotta kind of watch the terrain here, and I've drifted down. I was intending to be at 3,500, and I've slipped a little bit below that. But if we kind of scooch up, make sure we're back at our intended altitude, and we kind of snake through the low points in the terrain here, head straight toward the little snaky waterway there of the Merrimack River. And so there's a lake up ahead, kind of to the left. Where are we? 20 miles. So we're still 20 miles north of Concord VOR. And the VOR is yet... How far is the VOR from the airport, even? So if we're 20 miles from the VOR... Yeah, we're not that much further than... Because it's 3 miles, but it's 3 miles not a straight line further, so another 2 miles maybe is the difference, perhaps.
Delta 27, heavy requesting to leave the cockpit for about 10 minutes.
Delta 27, that's approved.
Did I cut the turn so short that I'm way west of where I intend to be? Not really over the river, perhaps? We are neither over the river nor through the woods. Okay, yeah, so it looks like the Merrimack River is much further to our left. Okay, alright, well, that's fine. We can scooch our way back over there, that's fine. Up, or Darkwind agrees. Now we got this power line. We can see this power line swath that comes down. See if we can see that on the map. Yeah, it's definitely so. Yeah, we're kind of following this power line swath, and so we're gonna veer off to the left and rejoin the river. Maybe we could honestly, we could follow the power line swamp down there too. It all kind of heads to the same place anyway. Do want to, let's see, we already are ready to transmit on 22.8. So we'll get our radio set up for that.
Delta 25, 10 Boston Center, roger, descend by the...
actually, no.
Runway 22 left, Boston altimeter 29902.
Let's go 33-4. While I try not to hit any green stuff. 30-34-7.
10 affirmative, Boston altimeter 29902.
Number 29902, Delta 25.
On the COM 2. And we'll swap 1 up to COM. Oh, you know what we can do? No. Let's do this. 22.8 on COM 2.
Southwest 1329 Lima airspace to the south, New York Center offline. Radar service terminated. Frequency changes approved.
So when we do our pattern work at Concord, we're going to be announcing our intentions on the VATSIM CTAF. VATSIM has kind of a universal CTAF. You don't use the published ones. If we were going to use the published CTAF at Concord to announce our intentions, it would be 22.7, but on VATSIM it's always 22.8, virtually always 22.8. Once we get over the river here, I think we can go ahead and start descending a little bit. So yeah, we're getting to the point where we want to be at about 1400 for our pattern entry into Concord. So let's slow it down, start. And the airport is just to the left of the river up ahead. Can we see it? If we can see it, we'll just go cancel flight following. Not sure about some of this terrain, guys. I remember these wicked plateaus being up here in the Boston, the Vermont area. We're 8 miles north of the field, so we'll go ahead and...
Airport Delta Victor, you're going to be full stop into Concord or just a touch and go and continue back to Nashua?
We'll be full stop there, 5 Delta Victor.
4 Delta Victor, roger, rotor service terminates, squawk maintain, VFR, frequency changes approved, good day.
Alright, frequency change approved, squawk maintain, VFR, 5 Delta Victor. 5-1, oh, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you guys knew what I meant. 1200. Alright, so props and, let's see, I said 1400. Alright, so here's what we're going to do, guys. And I believe this works now. We'll try it. We're going to set mic button COM 2. And now it says we're monitoring both COM 1 and COM 2. Let's check on the VPilot. Okay, good. Yeah, we are. We're transmitting. We're going to still hear Boston Center, but we're going to be transmitting only on the Unicom frequency. Let's just test it. Okay, good. Alright, bear with me, guys. I gotta do a couple of real quick things that I should have done earlier. METAR KCON 170 at 5. And Concord airport diagram, where I was at, it's got a 17. So we could go straight in, really, honestly. I'm not quite sure I'm seeing it, to be completely honest. Wait a minute. I think I do. Okay. So really you would want to do more of a full pattern entry here. Let's see, how would we do this? Okay, so there's no right patterns indicated, so it's a left traffic pattern. So if we don't see anything like this, RP17, we know we're good. It's going to be a left pattern. I think the proper way to do this, you know, a left pattern of 17 would be to kind of overfly it and then join. We can do this, you know, this teardrop out that way and join on the 45, but I think east to west and then join the downwind is fine. So we'll kind of do that. Let's swing it out to the west here.
Boston Center, roger, maintain plus level 310.
Yeah, so we kind of kind of should earlier have swung it out to the west and then do a midfield overflight. See if the pattern altitude's 1400. We kind of want to be at 1900. And then what's the runway? Pretty much 170 exactly. So I'm doing this to just something else here. 170. So that'll be a reference for our patterns. Yeah, so we probably should have swung out here to the side a little earlier. That way we could have done a more proper pattern entry. We want to be at 1900. We're going to overfly east to west, west to east rather, and then we'll join do a direct join into the left downwind runway 17. Concord traffic, Mooney 514 Delta Victor is about 3 miles northwest, 2,100 descending. We're going to overfly west to east and join a left downwind runway 17, Concord.
So 1042, thank you for the weather, runway 33, taxi via 0.
Delta 27, heavy is back.
Okay. So we'll overfly midfield, 1900-ish. Again, we're going with, so the started elevation 342, so we're rounding that up to 400. So that means pattern altitude will be 1400, and then the overflight altitude will be 500 above that, will be a 1900. So there we are, there's that.
Thank you so much for the service and see you.
The 4565 contact Washington Center 133.72. Good night.
133.72.
So there's 1900. Let's.
Boston Center, good evening, American 1440.
Fly straight over midfield.
9,000 for 14.
American 1440 Boston Center, good evening, climb maintain flight level 320.
Climb maintain 320, American 1440.
All right, guys. So we'll overfly it west to east, 1900. We'll go out the distance of a base leg, which would be maybe about 45 seconds. Is the stream stuck? On my end, it's looking good, Scooty. I don't see anything on my end indicating a problem. If you just hit reload, you should be okay, hopefully. Got the follow from Sir Sunnery. I love it. It's a very happy, call sign. All right, so there we're over the field. We'll start descending. Concord traffic, Mooney 514 Delta Victor's overflying the field 1900 west to east. We're going to join a left downwind runway 17, Concord.
We're level at 10, and we're giving a heading of 080.
Yeah, I know, it's yelling at me because I got the power out, but I'm still above the arc for gear and flaps. So as soon as I get the speed down, we'll go ahead and turn that left base, and we'll stop that beeping. So apologize. Okay, there we go. There's gear and flaps coming out. Add some power back in. We'll start descending to the pattern altitude 1400. Okay, Scooty says all fine. Yeah, on my end, it doesn't appear that I've dropped any frames or having any issues. But guys, certainly let me know if you're having problems seeing the stream, and I'll make sure that it's nothing going on this end. So there's our left downwind, kind of at 1400. Concord traffic, Mooney 514 Delta Victor's left downwind to base now, runway 17 Concord.
180 at 7, runway 33 for takeoff.
I think we'll go ahead and start that base turn. We're a little far out, so we can go ahead and start that base turn a little early. Still in a nice gentle descent. We can go that second knot for flaps in.
Maintain 3000.
You guys can start putting some predictions into the chat as far as the vertical descent rate upon touchdown. Is that a runway, or is it, I think we gotta go, keep going? Yeah, it's the one up ahead. Just a number into the chat. No bot command is necessary. Positive or negative, we'll take it to mean a descent rate either way. No prize for that tonight, but we do occasionally do giveaways on this channel where we use that prediction as the means for determining a contest winner. Try to put that third knot for flaps in, and it's going to be kind of a short base to final turn. Got Deadly Pay with the follow. Thank you so much for that. Concord traffic, Mooney 514 Delta Victor's on a short base to left base to final for runway 17 at Concord. Looks like a right-hand turn off if we put her down successfully. Shoot for 75 over the threshold, yeah, over the fence, and 70 over the numbers. Was a little fast last time, I think. Lights are saying I'm a little high also. Maybe slightly tipsy, but I'm not high. There we go. Now turned it slightly short. Got about 5 knots too much speed here.
1042 radar contact, climb team level 360.
See how well or poorly I can get that under control. My flaps are set and check gears down. Intentions are announced. Down to about 70 knots. Lights are saying we're below. Descending a little too shallow here. $98 was the winning number. Can we make the first turn off? I think we can. I think we can. Joey Bolo almost had it dead on. Very good, sir. Very good, sir. And Concord traffic, Mooney 514 Delta Victor, clear 17 Concord. Joey Bolo with the follow. Celebrates his win with the follow. Thank you so much. We can get pitot heat off. We can get strobe. Probably in the grass here. Nope. Okay, I'm okay.
Delta 2510, contact Boston.
Landing lights, recognition lights can come off. Just head back to the ramp area, and then we will figure out our navigation plan to go back to Nashua. If we have time, if the controller's still on, we will do that VFR 6. But we definitely have one more leg of VFR 5 to...
It's down to 720 at Boston Center Hill, climb maintain level 370.
One more leg of VFR 5 to complete, so... If we end up having to do a bonus stream some other time with the controller to do VFR 6, we can do that. Let's go ahead and just pull up to the hangar here. I don't think we'll pull all the way into the hangar. I think we'll just kind of pull off to the side here, get our bearings about us, and get ready to go back to Nashua for the end of VFR 5. Just so for those of you guys who are joining the stream late, we are doing a series of training flights offered by the Boston Virtual ARTCC. It's called the Wings over New England series, and we're on VFR number 5, which is a 3-hopper cross country. We've done Nashua to Lebanon to Concord, and we're going Concord now back to Nashua. And we're going to go straight through the Charlie on that, so we'll have to see if we can get permission to do that. So we'll see what they say. Actually, let's see what the... Well, it says, we'll just do it. We'll ask him if it's okay to go straight through the Charlie. We're just going to make sure we land at Nashua and not Manchester. Because I think that would be a fail of VFR 5 if you landed at the wrong airport. Real quick. So that is, that's Lebanon. Let's go back to Concord. Airport diagram. And then, KCON KF. I think we're going to be...
Okay, Alice 33, Wisconsin 12.
I think we're just going to basically be 2,000. I think we'll just stay at 2,000, guys. Everything around here suggests we can do that. Field elevation 260, yeah, 2,000 is fine. So yeah, we'll just need to make sure that we establish two-way communication with the controller prior to going through that Charlie, which we will already be in two-way communication. You know what? We're departing non-towered, so we're going to depart non-towered and kind of just going to talk to the controller right away before we go southbound to Nashua. So that'll be the plan.
Oh, you're fine, sir. Not a problem at all.
Alright, Scooty's heading in. Alright, so we are finally on our last leg, I think, for... So there's Concord. Let's go ahead and get Nashua up in front of us just to have it.
Okay, really appreciate that.
14 to 33. Let's do a real quick weather briefing there just so we can kind of know ahead of time what runway to expect there. Meets our KASH. Winds are calm, so it's really whatever he says. And then let's rebrief Lebanon. Sorry, Concord. I keep mixing up which one I'm at. 1705. So we want to take off on, excuse me, on 17. Again.
Wisconsin 21, just going to maintain 5,000.
Okay,
alright, I think we're good. We still got plenty of fuel. Yeah, we're still good on fuel. Let's go, oh, the taxi lights I left on anyway, so we're good. Let's go ahead and go. We'll set flaps for departure. We'll set trim. Parking brake off, and away we go. Alright, so we're taxiing. We're going to be departing on 17, so we're still looking at that green arrow. And we are taxiing in the opposite direction of that green arrow, so that's good. That's what you want. You're taxiing to the back side of the runway that you're going to take off on. Concord traffic, Moody 514 Delta Victor, taxiing out to 17 for VFR southbound departure, Nashua. Concord. Will they fail me because I don't know what airport I'm at?
Boston Center, Delta 745 with you.
Alright. And then as soon as we get airborne, we pretty much need to switch back to monitoring COM 1, or transmitting on COM 1 rather. And talk to him more or less right away. Is this like a gated community up there? It's like a mall? I think we want to go this way.
Wisconsin 21 cross Haddocks at or above 2,500 cleared ILS.
I see nobody in the pattern. I hear nobody in the pattern.
Okay, we'll cross Haddocks at or above 2,500. We're clear for the approach, Wisconsin.
Lights are coming on. Heat's coming on. Concord traffic, Moody 514 Delta Victor, departing runway 17 VFR southbound, straight out departure, Concord. And away we go.
Is there any specific runway in use at the airport?
And we're going to go ahead and switch the transmit back to COM 1. Because pretty much as soon as now we really should make one more call. Alright, we'll do it right.
Either 33 or 24.
On COM 2, we'll make one more call to let them know. Are we on?
For now, you can expect 33.
How do we end up on runway 12? Scenery not match up or something? Oh, it's because I'm an idiot.
745 cross Deer Park at maintain level 190.
So Deer Park at flight level 190.
Still nobody coming? Okay, good.
Air 7 kilo Mike, turn 20 degrees to the right.
20 degrees right, 7 kilo Mike.
Alright.
Air 7 kilo Mike, just going to maintain.
So again, we'll make sure that we are ready to make one more call on the Unicom frequency, the CTAF frequency. Again, we're transmitting on COM2. So we're good there. Away we go. Take off power set. Airspeed's alive, 60 knots. Rotate at 80, climb out at 85. Positive climb, gear up. Get it up through 400. We'll go, we can pitch up way more aggressively. Nice good airspeed and get the flaps up. Concord traffic, Mooney 514 Delta Victor, clear 17, straight out VFR to southbound, last call, Concord. Alright, let's switch back to COM 1 now. Boston Center, Mooney 514 Delta Victor.
Mooney 514 Delta Victor, Boston Center.
Off of 17 at Concord, 1,300 climbing, looking for transition through the Charlie north to south, headed back to Nashua.
514 Delta Victor, maintain VFR, squawk 4750.
4750, maintain VFR, 514 Delta Victor. 4750. And guess what? He's already answered us by name. We don't need to hear anything else from him. He has answered us by name. We have met our requirements to enter the Charlie. Matter of fact, as soon as he said 514 Delta Victor, go ahead. we had what we needed to enter the Charlie. Answers you by call sign. You have two-way communication. Now, it's a little disingenuous if all you've said is the call sign, but technically speaking, if he's talked to you by your call sign, you have met two-way communication requirements. We've already told him our intentions, so we're good. Let's figure out where we are. So we're going to go kind of right down the highway in the river and through the town of Manchester. We'll see the airport to the south and slightly east of town. That's not the one we're going to land at. We're going to continue south to the town of Nashua. The buzz is asking, can they say remain clear? Yes, they can. But notice that he didn't. That's the only exception. That's good. It's good you pointed out. I normally, when I talk about Class Charlie, I do point that out. So that's good that you brought that up. But yeah, if they answer you by call sign, you have established two-way communication. You may enter that space. The only exception is exactly what you said. If they say 514 Delta Victor, remain clear of the Class Charlie, then you have to abide by that.
Contact altitude 2,500. Resume navigation. VFR altitude at your discretion.
All right, resume on nav and VFR altitudes our discretion. 514 Delta Victor. So we see Manchester Airport up ahead. If he needs us to be out of the way of traffic there, he will let us know. He said our altitude indicates 2,500. I think that's just a... I'll tell you what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to adjust the altimeter up to match that, because I know that there is a little bit of a discrepancy between the weather simulation that VATSIM 2020 provides versus what METAR observations are showing. And I also know that the altitude capture in this plane will capture the actual altitude rather than what's on the cage. So we'll kind of fudge it a little bit and adjust the altimeter to what he said we were indicating. So that's a little bit of a VATSIMism versus a VATSIMism slash FlightSim 2020 ism there. Now the buzz, here's the kind of the clever thing about that two-way communication. If I call, and really we're talking to Manchester Approach here, right? We're only talking to Boston Center because Manchester Approach is not staffed. So on VATSIM, Boston Center kind of just inherits Manchester Approach. But let's say we were actually talking to Manchester Approach. Manchester Approach, Mooney 514 Delta Victor, just departed 17 at Concord, looking to transition north-south through the Class Charlie. And he says, aircraft calling, stand by. Have you established two-way communication? No, you have not. If he did not answer you by call sign, you cannot say that you have established two-way communication. If, however, you say, 514 Delta Victor, just departed 17 at Concord, we're transitioning Charlie north to south, and he says 514 Delta Victor, stand by. Guess what? At a Class Charlie or a Class Delta, that's all you need. He answered you by call sign, you're good. You established two-way communication.
What was the altimeter again?
The Bradley altimeter 2989er.
2989er, thank you.
Delta 1042, Lumiere Space to the south, New York Center.
Yeah, the buzz, I think your answer's lagging behind a little bit. Yeah, if he says aircraft calling standby, then you're stuck. You can't say you have permission to enter in. But if he says your call sign standby, that's really all that's needed is positive two-way communication by call sign. All right, so here is Manchester, and we're going to follow. What are we following here? The river just west of the field. Okay, good.
Right base runway 32.
Right base runway 32, 514 Delta Victor. All right, so right base runway 32 at. Okay, good. So basically, we're going to follow the river. Right base to 32 is essentially this, guys. So we'll swing it out a little bit to the east, and then come in on a right base. And 3-2, I'll tell you what, we'll kind of start descending a little bit. Little bit, I said. little bit, I said. We'll spin down to a 3-2. I don't have it exactly in front of me. What the what the runway heading is, and 3-2 will be close enough. We're VFR, doesn't have to be exact. Field elevation at Nashua was 200, so we're going to aim for 1200. So we're going to start pulling speed down.
American 910 contact Boston approach 133.0 for now.
33-0 American 910, we'll see ya.
And we know that the field is just west of the river.
Arrival runway 22 left, Boston altimeter 2992.
So kind of off in that direction somewhere. We're going to kind of just look out for the flashing lights. I think I see them, but I'm not sure.
Delta 27 is set to maintain level 320.
But again, down to 1200. Start controlling the speed. We're going to downshift the car. Only had to use the Mooney brakes once tonight. I'm happy with that. That's good. It's good speed control.
Scott 2-1, roger. Have a good night.
Sweaty the Bum is with us. That is one of the more colorful call signs I've seen on Twitch. Thank you, Sweaty. Appreciate you being here. Still joining the right base to a runway that I can't see, but I'm kind of just using this arrow as a guideline. To know when I'm on the right heading at least. And then still kind of looking out to the right to see if I can see the airport. I kind of suspect that's the airport there, just ahead of that pedestal. So there we are. We're on a right base heading. We know that the airport is ahead of us because it's west of the river. Ooh, wait a minute. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble with the view.
Walker 176 Boston Center, hello, descend and maintain level 270.
Trying to figure out where it is in relation to those little squiggles of the river.
Delta 27 info.
Anything looking suspiciously airstrippy? Yeah, maybe a little bit, but not sure. I think that kind of right there. But I'm not 100% positive. Alright, with speed now achieved, under the white arc, we'll go flaps 1 in gear.
Standard Carenado 12151 direct by Marco ADR.
413151 Boston Central, the Cape altimeter 2992, proceed direct to Nantucket.
2992 main direct to Nantucket.
Okay, yeah, we definitely got an airport there. We got the beacon. So we're good. We're aiming at the right strip.
Air 4 Delta Victor, wind call runway 32, clear to land.
Little land 32, 514 Delta Victor. Alright guys, landing rate predictions in for, we'll probably call it one last time. I think we're going to end up doing VFR 6 on another night. As much as I know a couple of you were asking about it. We'll probably just save that for another time.
GPS 9, Hotel Romeo Boston Center. Unfortunately, we're closing up here shortly, so change to VATSIM.
Yeah, there you go. He's closing up too, so we're not going to be able to do it either way. You're going to get the second notch of flaps in, start getting down to about 80, then 70, 75 and 70 for 75 down final, 70 over the numbers. Yeah, start putting those predictions in, guys, for the descent, or the descent rate upon touchdown. Get that last notch of flaps going in now. No, no bot command is necessary, and a positive or negative number will be taken as a descent rate prediction. And this will be it for the night. So, and we're a little fast. Gears down, flaps set and check, landing clearances received.
Boston Center, just a 205, request.
Gotta get the speed down about 5 more knots.
Just 205, good.
I think we're going to be good on the descent angle once we get established on final here.
Turn it into my frequency. Would you be able to pass on the information, please?
Jetstar 205, that's going to be with New York, so you can ask the next controller.
205, thanks.
American 1440, be airspace.
Still
north,
a little fast.
Center offline, radar service terminated, frequency changes approved, unit. Delta 27,
Let's see if we can get 5 more knots off on final, and then another 5 for touchdown, if we can. Alright, there we go.
Air 52 Echo, proceed direct to, actually stand by. 52 Echo, proceed direct to Norwich, Oscar, Romeo Whiskey.
Actually, a little bit slow now. A little firmer, I think. No, not too bad. 105 is the winning number. 105. That's not too bad.
33, when able, proceed direct to Haddocks.
And we'll make the next left up ahead. We'll get the lap stud. Next left.
What was the direct to what again?
Direct to Haddocks on the ILS.
There we are.
But, can you, what was the waypoint though? Haddocks, HD, can you spell out for me?
And we're just past the tower, so what one are we on? Yeah, we're off on Charlie. So this time we'll do a little bit better. We'll go Charlie short of Alpha, and then we'll wait for him to give us a taxi instruction, and we'll give him a call.
Hotel Alpha Delta.
We can get Quito off.
Alpha Delta uniform.
Strobe off. Off, I said. Recognition and landing lights off.
514 Delta Victor, welcome back to Nashua. Continue via Alpha to the ramp. Congrats on passing our winds.
All right, Alpha to the ramp, and thanks for VFR 5. 514 Delta Victor. Good night.
No.
Okay. Clear left, clear right.
Descend and maintain for Delta 745.
Delta 745, yeah, unfortunately.
Which one of these buildings has the airport bar, guys?
Terminated, frequency change is approved. Enjoy the rest of your flight. If you want direct haddocks, and haddocks at or above 2,500 for the approach.
Thank you. Have a good night. Delta.
All right.
Number 52, I'm closing up. Further service terminated. Frequency change is approved.
Who had it? Was it? Oh, it was one of our news stream viewers. Johnny Kaput with the winning number. Let's see, what do we have? We got 85, 73, 110, said Cobra 2B, which is also somebody new. Very, very close on that one as well, Cobra. Thank you and welcome to the stream. Johnny said 107, so just edged out Cobra. The Buzz had said 77. Crowmium had 111, so you guys were all in that same kind of range. You guys all had kind of properly detected my mood and skill level tonight, so very good for all of you being kind of in that same range. On the nights that we do giveaways on this channel, guys, that's the format that we use, so keep those skills up, and stop back when we have some giveaways. Taxi light coming off here. Keep those skills up for when we do have some giveaways, and we will definitely appreciate having you guys here on those nights, and chance for you to walk away with who knows, gift cards, t-shirts, all kinds of fun stuff. Johnny Kaput says thanks for the stream. Yep, very good. Appreciate having you here. Let's just get the rest of the shutdown done. Again, we're gonna have to save VFR 6 for another night, guys, and I apologize to the couple of you that had mentioned wanting to see it tonight. We'll get it back into the stream stream schedule at some point. So 1200, we'll go ahead and turn the transponder off again on for right now. The squawk code comes through, but the mode does not. So with the transponder off, we'll duplicate that in the vPilot for now. So for right now, you have to just duplicate that mode either way. And Chops81, thanks for the stream. Yeah, very good. Thanks for stopping in, Chops. Appreciate having you here. We're going to finish the shutdown and make a couple of quick announcements, and then we'll figure out where we are sending you guys for some continued aviation viewing. Let's go ahead and reset the trim. Flaps are set. Don't really need to check fuel and ETA because we didn't do flight time and fuel calculations for this one, so we're good to go there. We can shut the rest of the radios off. I think that's over here. If you guys can't see what I'm mousing over, whoops. So it's this knob right under where it says Bendix King. There we go. And then this knob over here. Yep, very good. We can go ahead and get the avionics switch off. And I think we'll go ahead and pull the mix. Watch, oh yeah, continue. We don't need the stupid log. Wish I could disable that. Pull the mix, watch the prop come down to stopped. Pull the prop lever all the way out and hit the fuel cutoff. What's the next? I'm kind of losing my place over here. Magnetos can come off over here. There we go. Then I guess it's the nav and beacon lights off. And then it's the alternator and battery off. Yeah, that'll do it, guys. That'll do it. All right, very good. So thanks again for those of you old friends and new who stopped into the stream tonight. Thanks for your very excellent predictions on my landing rates. Again, VFR wings number 4 and 5 now in the books for the Boston Virtual ARTCC Wings Over New England training program. So we'll have to come back and get number 6 another night, but we'll do that. All of our old flights are uploaded to our YouTube channel, guys, so if you want to watch this one back, I think Twitch will hang on to it for a couple weeks, but if you want to watch this one back later, any of you that are considering doing those Wings Over New England flights and want to review this one as as a guideline for how you can do yours and what radio calls to make and such. We were grateful that we had a controller pop in just as we were getting started, so that worked out really well for us. But you can always check that out on our YouTube channel. We've got a great number of tutorials over there as well. If you want to know what the navigation equipment suffixes mean, slant lima, slant alpha, that kind of stuff, there's a good one for that. If you want to know how I do my fuel and flight time estimates, I've got a tutorial for that. We've got some stuff on creating an IFR or VFR route. And we've got some stuff on how to talk to air traffic control and what to say. So all kinds of good tutorials you can check out over on the YouTube channel. The next couple streams coming up, by the way, are as follows. This was Wednesday. Okay, yeah, so the next one is on Friday. We'll be back in Flight Sim 2020 in the working title mod of the Flight Sim 2020 Citation CJ4. Fantastic project those guys are working on, making that aircraft and its FMC pretty much fully functional, and probably the best, most reliable IFR jet on Flight Sim 2020 right now. Again, that's called Working Title, and it's the CJ4 Citation. We'll be flying it in and out of the Atlanta area as part of the Friday Night Ops event down there called Honoring the Dream. So we'll pick our exact origin, stopover, and destination when it gets a little closer, but the Friday Night Ops being hosted there down by the Atlanta ARTCC, so we'll be doing some buzzing around there in the Citation jet. Then we are on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Special day, special time. We're going to do an air traffic control stream on the Washington ARTCC's event. We're hosting inauguration fly-in to Reagan National Airport. Now, I am going to be working over at Dulles, so if you want to fly into that and you don't want to get caught up in the massive holds and ground stops that are involved in flying into Reagan, we'll be controlling the tower over at Dulles, just about 30 miles to the west of that. So you can still fly into the DC area and not deal with the mess that is sure to be Washington Reagan National Airport on Sunday. So that stream will get started at 4, and we'll actually have our ground controller, Tides BR, Tides Bravo Romeo. He'll be streaming ground control as well, so you can get a full view of the aircraft movement over at Dulles by multi-twitching myself and him on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. So check back for either one of those guys. We're normally a general aviation flying stream on Monday nights and Friday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, so if you want the full show schedule, it's down there under the About tab. It's also posted up on our Discord server and on our Facebook page, and we've also got the Twitter that tells you what's coming up in the short term, so you can check any of those sources. Links are down there at the bottom of the screen to see what we've got coming up on the show. We also are letting you know that we are a media sponsor of Flight Sim Expo, event put on by these very guys here at Boston Virtual ARTCC, and we do appreciate them for it. We are hoping to be live in San Diego June 4th through the 6th. The flight arrangements, hotel arrangements are already made, and fingers crossed that we get to keep them. If we, for whatever reason, are not able to, we will be live streaming the seminars with commentary from wherever I happen to attend them from here probably. But hopefully we'll get out there and get to stream some stuff from the event in person there if everything goes our way health-wise, with that event happening in San Diego at the Town Country Resort on June 4th through the 6th. So definitely check that out at flightsimexpo.com if you want some more information on it. So, and keep those calendar days in mind. If you're not able to attend in person, then definitely just attend through me, guys. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be live streaming the dickens out of that thing, whether we are there in person or whether it becomes an all virtual event. So. Definitely keep those dates in mind and be here on the Slant Alpha Adventure Stream. That's going to wrap it up. Who do we got that's tooling around, flying around, or controlling around here that we can send you over to? Let us see. We've got a couple of friends we can send you to. Well, we've got...
Watch this.
Let's mute that real quick. He's getting parked, so I don't know if he's flying some more. It looks very much like Continuum is flying that very same Citation CJ4 that we were just mentioning, although he might be on short final somewhere. I can't quite tell. We're going to send you over to Continuum, and you guys can watch his approach and landing in the Citation CJ4. If he goes offline not long after that, then you guys can check out ground_point_niner if you want to see how this stuff works from the air traffic control side. Then ground point niner can tell you he's controlling probably up in the Minneapolis area, either approach or center up in Mini. But we'll send you over to Continuum, who's flying that CJ4, and hopefully we'll catch him. Maybe he's got another leg to do after this, but it looks like he's on short final now, so we'll send you over to him. Thanks again for being here. We'll see you Friday from Atlanta. Be safe in your own travels and your own adventures in the meantime, and we'll talk to you then.